Show me who I am, made me who I could become. Raise me from afar while I pick myself apart. Oh, my war has just begun. Sunk in silence, fake or science, what have we begun? I could tear these walls down or rise above them all. Look how far we have come. Da-dee-da-da-da-da. I'm a survivor, rascal of pariah. How far we've come, you and I, for eternity. Put on your war paint, let it show on your face. How far we've come, we as one for infinity. We as one for infinity. We as one for infinity. Boring hand grenades, only one remains. You're the one that stands alive. Deep into the night while you're fighting to survive. Focus has a state of mind. Sunk in silence, fake or science, what have we begun? I could tear these walls down or rise above them all. Look how far we have come. I'm a survivor, rascal of pariah. How far we've come, you and I, for eternity. Put on your war paint, let it show on your focus, aim, ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. This is the Free Fire World Series USA 2026 Summer, and this is the last day of knockout stage where we are going to see which team will be heading into grand finals. On the desk, I'm Neptune the Gentleman Garcia, joined by my brother, the Musashi AJ, and we'll be your casters all throughout this tournament.
Neptune, it's been a great journey so far casting for Free Fire across multiple regions. We just we are actually still running through the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. We've seen how South Asia plays. We've seen for many years now how Southeast Asia plays. We know how the North Americans have been playing in the past. But this time, Free Fire World Series USA, they are showing us a totally different flavor, man. In the past, it just used to be all about hunting for those eliminations. We're starting to see tighter rotations. We're starting to see them really put together some of these actives and passives in very creative ways that have made them look very, very dangerous compared to some of the other regions. I can't wait to see what they do on the international stage very, very soon. But so far, just this competition alone has been blowing our minds, my friend. 2 more days. I feel like it's coming to an end a little bit too quick.
Again, like we're having so much fun, like looking at the teams, watching their games, and it's just getting that like speed up because you're having fun. It's just excitement that we're getting out of these games, and even those unexpected teams are just popping off. QEs, for instance, from yesterday. I mean, it's just a different kind of monster right now that we're seeing out of Cascaya. So I'm really loving this kind of turn events for these teams. And you did mention about the global stage. MegaCorp, they might not be performing right now, but that might be a fluke. That might be a ruse that they're running for right now, because there's really no consolation if in case they don't win the championship. All they have to do is prepare all the tactics that they have against these teams, and then moving forward, that's what they will be bringing into the EWC stage.
Yeah, no doubt at all. I'm hoping that they get as much practice as possible, and they're already watching some of these other regions, how they play, how they rotate, so that they get to try to apply as much of whatever they're trying to ideate. But at the very same time, you don't want to give too much away, right? Because just like how you're watching the other regions are going to keep an eye on you, because they want to find out who they should avoid, and more importantly, who should they hot drop to take away easy points. Yesterday, QE was one of those squads who were taking away, I don't know easy or not, but some solid points, man. 2 booyahs out of 4 games that they play. And even in the game, the final one at Bermuda, where they did not get the booyah, they got the 3rd spot, but they left that match with 20 eliminations there.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's just different right now for QE. They got the motivation. They understand how the other teams are rotating right now, and they're taking advantage of that. Their sniper is on point, definitely elite at this point in these gameplays. But we're also seeing a few teams that we didn't expect to be this in a rough start. One of those would be Cardinal Source Caesar, because we expect them to do what Zeus Esports, Cascaya, DZ Esports has been doing from the group stages, but it seems like it's very difficult for them. And one team that is really slowly building it up is Celtic GG, because there's a rough start for them, ending up close to being relegated, but still they managed to get through the knockout stage, and now they might be able to get the grand finals.
Absolutely, and I feel like they're definitely holding back, right? Because we did talk about the awakening of Hugo, and I feel like he definitely stepped up here in the knockout stage. This was the match for QE, once again, where they were playing. And, in terms of seeing how far they could walk away from this matchup with a lot, we were thinking that they were going to go all out with the eliminations, and they did exactly that. Close to 20 for themselves on this Bermuda matchup. And they wrapped things up in a similar fashion at Solara, not as heavy on those eliminations, but still showing us that they are more than capable of getting to that final circle, walking away with the booyah when they want to. This is going to make the biggest difference when we head into Champion Rush Grand Finals then.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's where booyah really matters. And right now, it's more of, again, there's really little chance of them to practice, because they only have limited days, limited matches to go in and get that top 12 spot. Even the ones in the top, probably not the ones in the top, but the ones closer to the top 6 are still in trouble. If you look at the average, it's still rough for some of the teams, They might not be able to make it, but it's up to how they work it out today. It's a different set of maps, though. The groupings would be different as well, but hopefully they have adjusted well if they failed yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm looking for those adjustments for sure. We have some teams who have managed to put on a lot of points on the table. Some teams who have definitely struggled a tad bit yesterday. Those who are in the bottom 6 are the only ones at risk of relegation from this stage of the competition. The knockout stage is very well named, right? It's going to knock out 6 teams. At the moment, those that are at a little bit of risk: Shadow 7, Flash, Nova, Stella, Caesar, surprisingly, as well as 1NT Esports. Yesterday was a rough day for 1NT. They just could not make many of their rotations count. Their placement points were abysmal from all of those 4 matches that they played. Eliminations were slightly more decent than Caesar, which was just really surprising, right? I expected so much more from Caesar based on what they've shown us so far.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to look at the performance just out of the knockout stage, it is tough. But if we look at it per map, they might be able to recover. And one reason why we are hyping them up, or everyone else, is because they want them to reach the top 12. And if you get to the top 12, you go into the grand final to get pieces of this pie, and the $35,000 split up to 12. It will give you that much motivation to get into the next season. But also, there's the most elimination, the most damage, and this is a chance as well, the day as well, where we measure all of those damage in, and they will have that extra bounty for themselves.
Yeah, we have a very strong Free Fire esports ecosystem growing here in the USA, and it only gets bigger from here, Neptune. You look at these teams, you look at the squads, you look at the dedication that you're seeing, the growth from these teams. You can tell that they are really serious, and that's fantastic for a region, right? But it's not fully matured yet, which means there's still many more opportunities for some of those watching this broadcast. And I'm not kidding, right? If you guys are watching, if you're good at Free Fire, or if you know a good friend that's phenomenal at Free Fire, you have to try the in-game qualifications. Yes, we are in our summer season, but fall is coming up soon, my friend.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, we're going to see some fall of the teams as well, but it's the fall season of FFWS USA, and we're really excited that the frequency is quite often because the momentum and the chances for those viewers out there, so survivors out there, to be able to join tournaments just like this is right in their hands. If you just jump in, watch out for your dates where the qualifiers will be. I believe we have that as well. It will be coming up in August, so it's not far away, so you will have a chance to be part of this tournament.
Yeah, August 7th till 9th, if I'm not mistaken, the Free Fire Cup in-game qualifiers are running. And you don't have to be afraid, you don't have to be nervous. You just have to find a few team members, try it out. It's in-game. You don't have to like fly somewhere or whatever, spend some money. It's just the game that you open up on a daily basis. And sometimes people doubt themselves a little bit too much, right? They come and watch these games and think, oh my, why, such great plays, I'll never be able to match up to that. But they don't understand that these players started off from somewhere as well. And how did they learn? They watched these kinds of broadcasts. They, got together, they talked, they scrimmed a lot, and they slowly rose up to the top. Neptune, I don't think the players of QE were this dominant the moment they started off. And as a matter of fact, we've been already casting 2 seasons, 3 seasons. They were definitely not at the top.
I do agree, and that's one thing though. I know from what we've seen so far, there's a lot of changes that is happening, and it gives motivation for the team. Now, the change from the group stage to knockout stage is giving QE that motivation because it's less days. They can bring in the fire on them, and look at that double round robin that we have been set up gives you a second chance of going against the same team. But it's just 2 days, so they just have to qualify the top 12 to advance into the grand finals. And how do they do it? With the points. You go in for the placement. If you get the booyah, you get that 12 points. It goes down to 9 points if you get the second place. It goes down by 1 up until the 10th place, and unfortunately 11, 12 will not be getting anything. So hopefully you stack it up with elimination points, because elimination points is equivalent to 1 point in the system.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And this is exactly what the teams should be focusing on in terms of figuring out how to play the grand finals. You got to make sure you get to that final circle, aim for that booyah, because eliminations do count. They do count quite a little bit to get you to a point where you can activate the champion rush condition. But from then on, it's all about getting the booyah. And many big teams, many world-class teams, even the world champions have not been able to guarantee that booyah for themselves. But the state of the game is such where you can really manufacture this for yourself, Neptune. There are many boxes that you need to tick for sure in terms of decision making, your mechanical capability out there, using the right and active and passive skills. But clearly, it's not just about your own journey. You can look at others' journey and you can learn from them as well. I was very impressed with what Zeus Esports was doing during the group stage. Even during the qualifiers, we saw quite a number of teams do this. The lightning zone, right? That has been quite a big game changer, especially for some of these open battlefields where you want to disrupt your opponents. But very recently, I've been seeing a very creative use of it. When you want to revive your team members, when the circle is small, you don't want anybody looking up. You want them running for cover. You activate that lightning zone, you get those revives. I think it's been genius, and I've loved seeing it so far in the competition. I want to see more of it, man.
Exactly. I mean, that's where that Zuzi money mark really comes in, because if you can stack up all those coins, you will be able to buy both the Bolt Maker and revive your teammates. But if you're broke, you won't need even to do both or one of those. So it's more of that, like all the factors, as you did mention. There's a lot of factors within this tournament, within the gameplay that can give you that success, and hopefully you find all those easy enough within the games. And I'm really looking forward to how the team's going to make those adjustments, not only in this game, not only in this tournament, but since we talk about the qualifiers for the fall season. The update is here, and that evens the playing field for everyone. So if you can adjust to the OB update come within this month, then you will be able to do the same. Just tick off all the check off all those boxes, and you might be part of this. But for now, it's the teams who will be participating in this knockout stage that need to hustle that well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, there's been a big change. We've talked about how the team booster has been making a huge difference out there for survival. And survival through Bermuda, Solara, Purgatory is going to be difficult. Next, Kalahari, Solara, a different kind of challenge altogether when you talk about Kalahari and Purgatory in terms of those snipers and the current meta. The long-range engagements have become so much more plausible for these squads. But going back to what I was saying, the team boosters, right? Surviving outside of the zone. This has been bread and butter for many of the squads. But surviving outside the zone also comes with certain conditions. You need the players who have the team boosters on them active, alive, so that late game you still can play some of these, outside the zone recovery, which we've seen a couple of teams kind of falter at, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. And that's one thing, though. There's also a chance of being gate capped if you delay your entry, depending on the face of the circle. But we've seen a lot of teams, even in drop spot, they are hanging in the edges of each phase or the entire map from the beginning. So that, there's only a little chance that a few teams will be heading in the middle or dead smack in the middle of each phase, even the launch pad. So that's where decision making needs to happen quickly. You do have the team boosters, but if you don't move that much, even that would be your loss. Even that would be your failure.
And very interestingly as well, the sniper, so most of the times we've seen from a majority of these squads, is the guy who's responsible for bringing their team members back, especially the snipers that bring the Moss into play, right? So it's also very important that the player, the sniper, is the one with the team booster equipped and instead of the tactical market, because I think it makes a very big difference. Because if the rest of them are gone, you're going to lose your team boosters as well. But if you're the one carrying the team booster, you've activated already, your team's always going to have it, right? So just very small differences like this makes the the small differences make the difference. Yes, the small differences make the difference between survival or annihilation. And speaking of annihilation, Zeus looking to do exactly that. Shadow 7 means a goat taken down. Easy King with the mini Uzi. And more players on standby. Nando far away from the whole squad of Zeus, but trying to help out his buddies.
Let's see though, Shadow 7 has a good chance of qualifying into Grand Finals, spite of how low they are in leaderboard, but they have to move fast from here. Zeus Esports is a tough contender, and I think this is one plan for Zeus Esports, why they ended up hot dropping this team, because they don't want this team out in Battlefield later on, but it's a good thing for Shadow 7. They have one more that will be able to save the squad later on, but this has been the story overall for this team, and it has been very difficult, and they're averaging 9 points in Bermuda, which is not good if they continue.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Huevito, the only one taken down here on the side of Zeus, and they get the Dinoculus can onto two INV players as well. Question is, do they want to go duck hunting now as they bring their player right back into play? INV's not taking the shots up against them, but they must have seen him flying back onto the battlefield. Huevito, M1917 in hand, and the rest of the INV players joining them as well. This is about to become a party. UAV sent out the way of Zeus Esports, and INV wants this fight. Paletoso repositioning with the stealth bites that Morse making it very handy, and they call out for the lightning zone as well. King's gonna get caught out. Easy one for Paletoso. M24 Punisher, Huevito, a sliver of health left on him. Nobody's gonna be able to save King anymore, and here comes INV with the ambush.
That's one thing, you don't want to step outside like that, not really moving while lightning zone is happening, and INV is taking advantage of this. Now we have Zeus Esports, who will be thinking, is this the same team that we wiped out or almost wiped out earlier, because it seems like they're a little bit strong. But on the other side, we are also seeing INT. They heard the gunshot, they know the vending machine might be the target, and Zeus Esports might be bowing out a little bit too early in this fight, but it does force INV to go against 1NT.
Absolutely, man. INV, 1NT, the sounds, the taste of blood in the water have brought the Sharks called 1NT. They're looking to harvest these points. Sounds going to get taken out of the equation, though. 1NT, from predators to prey, I think they're going to back away a little slowly. Did we bite off more than we could chew?
I think that's the same story overall, because currently, before the game even started, they are on the bottom of the leaderboard, and they have to be cautious, but there's also that stress, that pressure of building the numbers until the end of the day. But looking at that, it divides their attention to what really matters, and it's also dividing the team on how they're going to survive. Only one remains, if I'm not mistaken, for 1NT, and only Fabian would be gunning away. And judging from how INV has been working on, they will be looking for blood and probably a finisher against this team.
Okay, one revival brought through already. Count still in the game. Fabian trying his best to get away.
Nice.
1NT will not get taken down even if Fabian falls, but he does not. Manages to get away, and now he's going to be on standby. If you dare, you use that zip line. I want to see you do it.
He's gonna trigger in the bait. I mean, it's a good plan right there. At least it increases the number, in spite of being traded off. But let's see on the other side, Rimnam Village, we have Team Flash and O1. And O1, well, so far they have been receiving a lot of O1s right here. O for them, 1s for the opponents. But let's see if this is a chance for them to go 1-0 this time around.
Absolutely. Rimnam Village, O1 Esports. Flash. Replix lost already. It's a 2v1, you know. We'll have to get away here. Poco on the chase with the M590. And it looks like this is game over. You know, just does not have the guns nor the strength to fight off two players. And O1 overwhelming Flash with their plays. The time turner expanded as well, but they've got the numbers on their side, so they don't mind going in for the chase. Mateos is going to be that next victim. Just carry far enough to pull those revivals back for the squad. And I feel like this has been communicated already. Mateos is asking his buddy to get away as quickly as possible.
Oh, Celtic GG being eliminated a little bit early. We didn't even see get to see that fight, but here comes the plan. I guess Nuno has a plan of really letting two players survive, but I think Mateos didn't even get the memo, because at some point he's distracting the opponents. He's distracting O1. Everyone is just gunning at them, and Mateos just left behind. But that's one thing though. If like Nuno knows, but if Nuno you know what's going to happen, then at least plan ahead.
But I guess he did not know.
Did not know.
No. I don't. Sorry for the stupid jokes, guys.
No.
It's quite early where we're from.
It's an uncle thing as well.
0-1. Yeah, going for the Arsenal this time round. They want some upgrades on their weapons. Smart thinking. And got that upgraded as well as they unlock it. So beautiful. Saskari bringing back the players for the side of Flash. GCT Arrow on the recovery as well.
I think what Flash did is a great rotation. They're moving at the northern part of the area where a lot of vending machine is available. If they have some contention, at least in Graveyard, they can move into Bullseye or Shipyard before the zone closes in entirely. But let's see how this is going to work. Fabian still in the hit list right now, and not quite sure if this is part of what we've seen earlier against INV. But Zeus Esports going for the battle, and they're going against the EWC representative. And it seems like Zeus Esports might be feeling the thunder, might be hitting the lightning, but Revive might be hit as well for one, so TMJ can keep them alive.
Yeah, they always wondered, what does it feel like? We keep hitting everyone with these lightning strikes, but what does it feel like? Viacom showing them a little bit of that. One Revive and Gaviota will be able to get away, at least for the time being. The space around Mars Electric just way too open, so there's just no way of escaping this one unless he's got a vehicle, and clearly he does not. Gaviota M590. First tag will find the opponent, and Nix though just going to squat down, wait for backup from the rest of his team members. Max 7 versus the M590. Gaviota overwhelmed by the numbers, but did fairly well initially. So for anyone doubting Miacorp because of the aggression that Zeus has been showing on the battlefield so far, I guess this was a decent preview.
A decent response as well. Zeus Esports, I mean, I don't know what's up with Gaviota, because most of the time he has that shot almost on a headshot in most instances. Accuracy is on point from him with M590, but he misses a couple of that, costing him his life. Revive has been pulled off, but it's a conversation that we have in most cases, even in other tournaments wherein it's up to you to decide. If you're up in the corner, you might be focusing on the Revive, and then you will be quite easy enough. Like, you might be thinking that it's easy enough to recover later on. But Caesar, great recover run for a takedown, fake 8 for that annihilation against 1NT. And 1NT is definitely in trouble right now, most cases.
Yeah, man. Fabian still messing around with Misa Goat, and it looks like Shadow 7 is being capped here. 1NT on the vicious attack. INV versus Caesar, though. This is about to break down. Right outside of Bhima Sakti strip. Caesar running straight at INV. They're out in the open. And the binocular scan as well. They want that vending machine. But I think this is going to be pretty difficult for them if INV steps outside of the compound. None of the INV players on that high ground at this point of time. And Caesar's just going to use the dip in elevation here, just around the hills, to make sure they stay out of line of sight.
But those already spotted shots from the other side. Not quite sure which one was it, but Muslim has lost that opportunity with that headshot on that AWM, so they need to flank. And you were talking about high ground. This is Caesar making sure that they have the high ground. Anyone who steps out or steps into peak will be shut down, and this is a good plan for Caesar unless a lightning zone shows up.
I love some big brain play, man, and that was brilliante. He uses the stealth bites and very quietly gets to the roof, and this is a big advantage. The rest of the players on the follow-up now. Fake 8 finding one Muslim, going for yet another, but Low will use Mother Nature for defense. Not wasting those glue walls. Just, hey, don't shoot the horse, man, Muslim. What's wrong with you?
I mean, it just shows up red, and that's trigger. That's something that triggers some of the players. If it shows up on your marker, you start to shoot, even if it's not an opponent. But on the other side, shots coming from Miacorp, making it more troublesome for INV.
Yeah, INV can't get out, so they gotta stay exactly where they are at peak. Miacorp dealing with two squads at the same time. In fact, they were going for the hunt onto Shadow 7. Caesar, on the other hand, CQC up against INV. Muslim will finally get taken down. The Trogon is there. INV eliminated from the equation. Caesar, perfect ambush, all thanks to the reposition of a Muslim. on that roof with the stealth bites with the Morse. Beautiful play. And they deserve those points. But can they the same now to Miracorp? They've got the UAV being sent out. Miracorp's about to get scanned. No, they shot that out of the air.
Well, that's one thing though. I mean, if INV didn't step out of peak, they could have been saved a little bit more. Yes, there's some footsteps, some trouble being brewed by Caesar, but they still have a lot of cover. They have a compound to work with, and looking at where Circle is, peak is still part of those. So that could have been a decision that they had made quite better instead of spreading outside of peak, looking for an angle against Caesar. Just step back inside and wait for the zone to close in.
14 eliminations here for Miracorp. Looks like they're planning to go crazy on this game. And good for them. We've been waiting for the awakening of Miracorp yesterday. And they even missed a match, Neptune.
Oh,
Think
yeah.
about that. It's still quite high up the leaderboard for a team that missed a game. And I think they're making up for that missed match here with this run. Shadow 7 about to lose another player. But speaking of Shadow 7, Misa Goat finds a play on the side of 1NT. Kappa. Oh, hey, didn't have his gun out. Time turner had to be invested. Bingo will pull out that time turner. But up against two players, it does not give him any bit of advantage at all. 15th elimination picked up.
And that's one thing, though. You need to be ready most of the time, but you might be moving slow. So that's where passive skills really come in. If you have passive skills, when you're using a specific weapon, you might be moving faster as expected. TMJ being taken down by Nyx. I believe that's a CQC on an AC-80. And Miracorp on the road to get 20th bomber right here. And similar to what we're seeing from yesterday, even if they bow out or miss out on the first game, they got a booyah in the second. So every time they're in participation, they're aiming for that big B.
Oh, again, man, this is that rematch. We saw this already. And you said, no, we want a round two. And Miracorp said, bring it on, baby. They lost one. They took down 4. The math is mathing. Miracorp looking absolutely solid for this next circle play.
Well, let's see. GCT Arrow. Not seen very often, only one elimination, but now they're eyeing to take down 1NT, and 1NT definitely is in trouble. But it's a good thing they managed to get a few eliminations already out of Zeus, out of Shadow 7. But the only question, though, is that enough to put them up a few more spots in the leaderboard? GCD Arrow heading into Stellar's way, and Stellar needs to move fast if they want to get away.
Absolutely. Colado, Palopio down. GCT Arrow does have a vending machine to work off of here. It's just right in front of it. But coins are going to be needed. Colado brought back in. Full squad once again. GCT Arrow. But Miracorp on the way to them. They hear the sounds. They want the points, Nep.
Yeah, they want the points indeed. I think they're aiming for more than 20 points.
We need to see
Lightning Zone being triggered. And now the shots onto them. Nyx will not be able to survive. But let's see on what else Miracorp has to bring to the table right now. Stellar Gaming in trouble and Miracorp eliminated. So the mission is a failure right now.
Oh, absolutely. But now GCT Arrow. Last minute revivals coming on through. Do we have enough money for Colado? The damage from the circle is going to be massive. But as you can see, they've got the team boost is activated. 5 of those boosts on them. They should be able to tank the damage from the blue quite a little bit. And we'll catch up with the rest of the action here as 1NT makes their exit as well. 2 players from the side of GCT Arrow unable to tank the damage from the circle. And it looks like the whole squad is in trouble.
Yeah, definitely GCG Arrow is slowly dwindling, only left to 1 or 2 players remaining, and this is tough. They did manage to bring down the elimination leader, which is Miracorp, but now they might not even get to the top. As ZMF, though, a little bit silent, a little bit stealthy, going for the flank, and this is a good plan. 0 elimination just yet, but they still have a few contenders that they can beat down with the numbers that they have.
Yeah, ZMF's trying to focus on the thing that they were quite bad at yesterday, finding that final circle. So this time, they don't go for those all-out eliminations, and I love this as a strategy from the squad. Uziel has got the M249, should be able to pelt down all of these glue walls with his bullets. The question is, do they have a Riptide Rhythm on their side? The time turner used extremely early from the side of 01. They wanted the airdrop, some extra supplies for this final battle. In the meantime, Caesar slowly approaching ZMF. ZMF's in a lot of trouble now.
Let's see. I mean, if they get close, it might be trouble. One shot, half an HP remaining. But Caesar have one problem. They don't have enough manpower to go against ZMF. But here comes 01 Esports as well, distracting them from the initial goal. So the tension is already split up. But 01 does have an advantage. The shift will be favoring them. If they can push both Caesar and CMF out, not even crossing this line, then they might be getting this booyah.
This is why you need grenades in the final circle, Neptune. Because what ZMF is doing right now, playing that perfect defense behind the boulder, just gunshots just cannot reach these players just yet. As I say that, Fake 8 finds Wa out in the open. Wenda's put down as well. Caesar doing perfectly with the Car 98 so far. The jump shots behind the glue walls working out perfectly for them. And Fake 8, 7 eliminations so far. Possibly can bring it up to 10 if he can continue this run for himself.
Oh, I'm loving this. One player from Caesar did manage to go for launchpad, but a little bit delayed from the rest of the squad. Muslim almost being taken down. Only a sliver of health on him, and there's still nowhere from the other side where Caesar can go quickly. There goes Cryo Mine. This might be the disruptor, and this might be 01 taking advantage of the battle between Caesar and CMF. But CMF is still a full squad, and they're not going down that easily.
Oh, Gotti just performing so well with the VSK. ZMF wants this booyah for themselves, but what a great run so far. But no eliminations at all for the squad. Up against 01, who are well warmed up, looking like a well-oiled machine at this point of time to score the first booyah. ZMF backing away. Kevin with that cord in the distance will not be able to make much damage happen for the squad at all. Gotti tagged up. Glue wall still up. These guys have got so many of those LMGs, but these glue walls are standing up way too long. Those team boosters in full activation, and finally they stop those glue walls, but still, Gotti bunny hops away from them.
Gotti is the distraction that they couldn't put down. Gives an opening against CMF for that takedown, for that elimination. And I'm just loving survivally coming from Guy. It's not even a rusher. He is the sniper. But here comes the takedown against Fake 8, the final player of Caesar. Now we're left to a 3v3 situation between ZMF and 01. Now ZMF can get close despite of how long they are keeping the distance against 01.
Valiant dash available for Uziel, and he uses it to get one knock. Beautifully played by Uziel. The timing brilliant, and he now goes for the backstab. And Uziel with the big brain flanks, and ZMF guaranteeing the booyah for themselves. This is what I was talking about, Neptune. It is this skill, it is this strategy that's going to be so very useful in our Champion Rush Grand Finals, providing a team can get to the Champion Rush condition first.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, this is the first booyah from CMF, and they did it phenomenally. I thought 01 can get ahead of them, especially with how Gotti was moving. His flank with that Moors could have been a game changer against CMF, but like how close it is against CMF, he was spotted, the glue wall spotted as well, so that prompts them to just focus on one area. And even if like 01 Esports is just right next to them, ZMF knows that isolation would be a great play for them. But 01 Gotti, movement is just insane. He's like Houdini out there.
Yeah, I think so many teams stepped up. And the double chow between Miacorp and Zeus, I think we tried to see what they could do up against each other. But I don't feel like today's the best version of Zeus Esports that we have seen out there, right? They don't look as aggressive as they usually are. Or is it because they look tamed in front of Miacorp? I feel like I need to see more 4v4s between the two to really take a side. But it was a brilliant run from Zeus before bumping into Miacorp twice.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, Zeus Esports on a chase, and we've seen that right here against both INT and INV, and they still manage to get away when they smell that they might be in trouble. 01 though, still aggressive against Flash when they started off in Rimnam Village. Great rotation that they took, and even position-wise towards that final circle, it is just insane that they managed to get into that point.
Yeah, absolutely insane, man. And this was where the players on the side of Zeus found out that Miacorp was not messing around. They came back for a reshell. And right at this point, Miacorp just had enough of them. They were looking for the circle, and the last thing they needed was to get backstabbed by a squad as they're trying to rotate. and they knew that they had to finish the job right there and then, and Zeus exited the lobby with that 9th spot. That's crazy because a team like that exiting so early can only be done when they bump into a squad as capable as Mia.
Yeah, and speaking of Mia Corp, I mean, they are the ones who, I would say, pressure GCT Arrow to stay in peak right now to be able to be eliminated early in the fight as well. It's just unfortunate that it's only one player from GCT Arrow who managed to survive peak and get into close to the final circle. But this is what I'm talking about. For 0-1, if they have great position, they have natural cover to work with, and even got the best out of Caesar. But it's just unfortunate with the distraction of Fake 8 that leaves CMF an opening to go in for a rush, get close to them, and Uziel just did the deed quite well.
Yeah, I think the final move was well strategized from the side of ZMF. Instead of both the players sticking together, they flanked around their opponents and they managed to catch them off guard. And Yen's the MVP, just 2 eliminations, 1 assist, 1,719 on the damage. Not surprised since ZMF had 0 eliminations as they approached that final circle. Let's check out his active passive skills here. He's the player with the Morse. Has got a typical sniper build here off of the Maro, Raphael, as well as the Moko to tag up those players, and the Car 98. I feel like it's been the favorite of many teams in the recent update.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, that one shot, one elimination is coming quite great in this fight. And 0-1 placing second in this game. Still managed to have a representative on a head-to-head, but Caesar's a Fake 8, the final survivor of the squad. With that one knockdown, it gives more of the damage for himself. He's always in the front line, but judging from how the disparity is in terms of the damage, like, we can see how aggressive Caesar was in this fight, and Gotti the sniper couldn't get that much of a chance to eliminate a lot or damage a lot of players.
Yeah, but in the grand scheme of things, 0-1's gonna smile year to year, knowing the fact that he alone pulled away so many points for the squad. 20 eliminations though for Mia Corp out of 89 in this lobby, 110 total knocks. I'm glad to see the total rescues at 25, but we need way more than that. The recovery from many of these teams, we've highlighted this multiple times already, is not as strong as we want them to be, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one reason why we don't exceed 100 points on elimination that much as well, because they don't go in for recovery. Most of the time, they try to clutch those moments instead of providing an insurance policy for the teams. But it's difficult as well. If, like, it's more of a decision of, are you going to chase for the numbers in terms of elimination, or wait up and loot up all those coins that might be at a risk later on. They haven't invested, they haven't done the plan splitting up those coins for teammates. I see less of those. It's only one player who always have everyone or every coin within the team, or most of the coin within the team, and once that player has been gunned down, it's just a struggle, a scramble for the rest.
Yeah, I think it's an age problem, right? Because people who are slightly older have always come across the saying, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. It's the same thing. Don't put all of your Free Fire coins on one player. You gotta make sure, worst case scenario, 2 players at the very least, right? At least you have 2 players who are capable of bringing in those revives. You see Esports now, right at the top. Although they did make that early exit, Tiscaya now right behind them, but we will see them in performance right after this next matchup. Mia Corp on that slow rise. Yes, they've only played 4 so far, but so close to Zeus Esports, even after missing that one game.
Yeah, ZMF right now has brought themselves on the 4th spot. I believe this is close to where they started the game. So it's just some of the teams has added a lot of those eliminations into the mix. And we did mention Mia Corp did get 20 eliminations. So that's just one showing that they can do better despite of not getting a lot of matches. But looking at it into the next game, would this be another Mia Corp and Zeus battle? Because Zeus has managed to do a lot despite of not having a Booyah. They got 19 elimination out of this game the first time we saw them, and we didn't even see Group B just yet into this mix.
Nah, Group B has not played this map just yet in the knockout stage. And yes, you're correct. The last time we saw Zeus here, they walked away. No Booyah, I think about 7 or 8 placement points and a ton of eliminations. This is one of the places where Zeus is going to be very dangerous. GCT Arrow has to be a squad that we look out for as well. They did almost walk away with the Booyah the last time round. But of course, in the grand scheme of things, Neptune, it's very good to see Miyakop stepping things up, right? Because I think many questions have been asked already on whether or not this was a fluke, because they did not dominate all the way through until the grand finals where they got the job done. And we've been wondering whether or not they're going to be solid representatives for the world stage, for the USA region. And man, they are proving they are more than worthy. In fact, they could just be the ones most capable of bringing something big back for the USA. This is the team lineups. You have seen them already. It's the exact same as the previous matchup. But one squad I definitely want to look out for is Celtic Gaming this time around. Too early of an exit they had in that first map.
Yeah, I do agree. And a little bit correction of what I mentioned earlier. When I said there's not the teams from Group B hasn't played it, I'm talking about knockout stage. But for the early parts of this competition, it's not only Zeus who managed to get the top of the board. GCT Arrow is one of those as well, and they're part of this mix.
Yes.
So they have one Booyah already, total of 49 elimination out of all the games they played in Solara, and they might be doing the same thing this time around.
Caesar is not too bad on this map as well, Neptune. So let's see exactly what they pull away as we head on into Solara. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's see if or not the Booyah can go to one of these three teams who have time and time again proven that they play a really good Solara map. GCT Arrow, Zeus, Cartel Sir, and of course, Miyakop always. We've always got our eyes on Miyakop to see if or not they can overwhelm the big dogs in the USA, just so that they'll have a stronger chance. We've never seen that international connection so far. But we will see a interstellar connection here. Stellar Gaming, Biblix, no guns on him just yet. And the spray down onto Joshua is there, but the return by Nyx. Mini Uzi instantly making sure the rest of his players can get picked right back up. Black on the ground, Lima sprayed down as well. One final survivor on the side of Stella. They just messed with the wrong squad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with Miyacorp has grabbed a lot of great weapons already. Chris Stan trying to go for a clutch and a pickup as well. But Nyx will be in there from both sides. Cryobine and Mini Uzi, little to no chance, and they got denied.
Yeah, man. I mean, no glue walls built just before that pickup, and he got punished big time for that. And obviously good decision making from the side of Miyakop as well with the timing. Shadow 7 versus 01 and Archway on the other hand is going to see Shadow 7 lose one player. That's Nando. And without Nando, it's a little bit of a slower pace, and 01 straight up out of there. They know they don't have the advantage with the compound. Sandy's going to get tagged up. And the XM8 getting the job done. Sanchez 7 with a knock on to Gotti. 01 Esports scrambling on the battlefield, looking to split up so they can survive.
Cito, Shadow 7, despite of being low at the beginning of the day, they have a good chance to climb up. They already managed to climb up one spot, and Solara, they average 11 points out of this mix. So this is just a bait that is being done by Sanchez 7. And there goes Poco MVP showing up, but unfortunately that trigger being pulled a little bit too late, and even off angle. Not quite sure what's happening with Chance Sanchez 7. He's one of the best sniper that we've seen in early parts of this competition, but it seems like even his skills is dwindling.
Absolutely. Well, he's going to hop on to... Okay, I thought he was going to go to the slide rails, but instead, it's going to allow the escape and not go in for the pursuit. It's just obviously not the smartest idea, because those slide rails will light up if you hop on it, whether or not you have the moss. So, just right decision there. Not getting too greedy for those extra points. And 01 on the recovery here, thankfully. But GCT Arrow, on the other hand, 2 eliminations already as they bump into ZMF early.
As ZMF, a team that has the motivation, hopefully it has the momentum as well after getting that Booyah earlier. Now, Pilon putting a lot of pressure onto Yanzi, but Yanzi will be backing away. Again, the plan for ZMF is not to be that aggressive, and even from rotation from certain players from ZMF, it seems like they're only looking for a place to get into before going for the engagement. But GCTR really want to catch up onto numbers right now, currently in the 6th place. They have 71 points, very close to DZ Esports, who will not be playing just yet in the first 2 maps, but they need to invest all those points if they want to take the lead.
You know, on the flank from the right, Miyakop might just be the next Predators, because I can't really see Flash being the Predators up against a team like Miyakop, unless of course they want to shock the life out of me. GCT Arrow. I feel like This is not gonna go very well. Flash slowly falling into waterfall. Vending machine right in front of them. Spotted out already. Nuno with the shots. Nix spotted by Nuno. Tagged up. Has the cord.
Nice.
Throws the cryo mine. Smart play. And the boulder will not help him as Saskari flanks around to the left. Car 98 finding the player. Replic. No knocks coming on through. The cryo mine now played from the side of Miyakov. Grenade will not find Replic just yet as he quickly repositions. Right into the crosshairs of that card. The knock comes on through. Hopping on away. And it looks like Miyakov can't really stay to play this. Zeus is on the way in as well. So they got to get the heck out of there.
Yeah, that's one thing though. They will need to go for revive first onto Kappa, make sure they're full squad. And Flash right now eager to change the numbers on their side. When it comes to Solara, they're only averaging 3 points. And this is quite surprising that they're even betting aggressive. But on the other side, Miyakor feeling the wrath, feeling the thunder. Though there's no lightning zone, but thunder from Zeus Esports right now, who's really bad of being eliminated early.
Yeah, that was just tough luck for Biblix. He didn't scan the area out with the binoculars, but even if he had, the players on the side of Zeus, they were just way too spread out. That was that exit strategy out of desperation. He flew out and unfortunately landed right beside Zeus. Zeus saw him in the air, went for the hunt. They knew that, hey, what's this Lone Ranger doing here? But Miyakov will still be able to survive that scary encounter. Technically speaking, they should have been able to annihilate Flash, but they were scrambled out in the open and they panicked. They did not want to take any risk in that battle at all. And that's just veteran moves out of Mia. That's the main reason why they fully recovered.
Yeah, let's see. Speaking of fully recovered, Flash did manage to revive a couple of their players in Waterfall, and they have managed to stay in there for quite some time, even against some of the teams who might take them down. So let's see though on what Flash has got to do later on. The focus now is onto Caesar. Caesar is just in full rotation, trying to farm a lot of points. Met up with a few players from Zeus Esports, but they need to blow away Josh Bear out of nowhere and Fake 8 not faking at all.
Yeah, you gotta appreciate the VSS with the rate of fire. And Fake 8 just has the aim. One of the best guns to have out there, for sure. If you want to pelt down your opponents instantly with those bullets. Zeus now on the slide rails. Potential encounter. No, they're not going to be bumping into Caesar just yet.
Yeah, only the split from Zeus Esports. A little risky though, but at least I think it is necessary for them to spot out opponents, give out those information. But TMJ right now, making sure they're still within the zone, spot those slide rails. Or probably just baiting someone in here, because you did mention a good point. It lights up when it's being used, and I think this is a team that they want to take down, but unfortunately, Corona VSK is on point with those shots.
Oh, I mean, look at that save coming on through. Vito, this guy has got the speed, but TMJ can't stay alive. He had the glue wall, but for some reason stepped out of it and loses his life. Vito's efforts just go down the drain on that pickup. But now here comes INV for the rush. Valiant Dash breaking down the defenses. Vito taken out of the equation. No more easy pickups for Zeus, says INV.
Yeah, this is one thing that they gotta learn. There's no more playing on the slide rails. Otherwise, you will be tripped against INV. It's a good thing recovery is in there. King did manage to go for a couple of revives. Two more coin machines, and they can get for a full squad to bring back Gaviota. But time's running out. We're already on 8-minute mark, and the zone's closing in from second to the third.
Circle's still quite big, so it really depends on where these players land on their drop right back in here. TMJ brings Gaviota back, and that makes a full squad once again for the side of Zeus. Can say the same for Miyakov as well. Mateos finding the ZMF player. Nuno's gonna get hunted down. Kevin for the push. Mateos really low, and he's gonna be found as well by Kevin. The Thompson striking hard, and ZMF picking up those points a little early this time around.
Yeah, I'm loving a split right now coming from Yanzi and the rest of ZMF, but they need to go for a revive first, but they have a couple of Flash players that might stop them from doing so. Unless the ideation would be to get in the next phase of the circle, but there goes shots onto Uziel, trying to deny them at the vent machine, but Heal UAV together with that cryo mine, it gives Kevin that opportunity, But let's see on what Flash has to say about this.
Replic's just gonna try his luck here, but he's just being careful as well. And Zeus Esports early exit this time. I guess they feel like they've done enough to make their way into the grand finals. And I would agree with them. They've already put out quite a number of points on the leaderboard. But can the squad of Flash survive against ZMF, who are looking for the final circle again? Stealth mode. It's going to be the stealth bites from that boss. And Kevin finds Nuno yet again. He just can't seem to catch a break.
Oh, let's see. ZMF, with the motivation that they have in Booyah, they are slowly taking down players from Team Flash. And Team Flash, despite of how well they played it from yesterday, getting in top 12, seems like they're getting beat down quite easily. We've seen this in the group stage. They are always trying to go for the clutch to get into qualifiers, but there's a risk involved in that, especially with less games and less days in this knockout stage.
See, that's the example that I was talking about early on as well, right? The sniper having the Morse, but bringing in the tack market instead of the team booster. I feel like if you're going to have your sniper be your primary reviver, especially in the late game phases, having the team booster is just something you can't avoid, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you have a team booster and you're assigned to 3 of those team boosts, if you have enough coins, then you have a better chance of surviving towards the end. But again, it's planning for failure, but it doesn't hurt to have plan B. In most cases, and from what we've seen in a lot of teams, it's always the next plan is another plan A. So I don't know which one would work, but for most, it seems like it is a trouble. It's a rip-off if in case you don't plan ahead.
Nah, for sure, man. INV, though, is going to be pursued by Shadow 7. Looking for the players, but INV with the quick reposition will be able to avoid engagement for the time being, giving this compound to Shadow 7, but it is not as advantageous as you may think. Because when that circle catches up, and the zone catches up to this next circle, I have to say, they'll be right outside. And if they don't start to move now to look for a better defensive spot, they're going to be sitting ducks on a late rotation.
Yeah, I do agree. INT sitting ducks as well, and they don't even have to be forced. They don't even have to rotate, but they are being forced right now. And who might be waiting for them? It's Palitoso on the other side. I'm quite sure Brian has already seen him, but triggered that stealth bites just in case he gets shot at in those gaps. But they do have enough coin to go for one revive. Hopefully that guy, like we have Cone, who can survive that drop. But here comes the closing of the circle that might force more players against 1NT.
Now, how can they find a decent defensive spot when they're forced to move out of studios? The fate of many of these squads is going to be dependent on this next circle. Count down, INV spotting them. It's rough, man. You barely have any cover in a circle like this. Sanchez 7 and squad, Shadow 7, understanding the pressure with the zone that was on the quick approach, and they find themselves at the arsenal instead. This was a great reposition coming through from the squad. Palitoso down on the ground. Can they get the pickup? Caesar, on the other hand, aiming for Wason.
No.
And the Riptide Rhythm breaking down his defenses, but Wason somehow hanging on.
Oh, couldn't hang on quite longer because like a lot of players from the other side of Caesar is putting that much of pressure. Saskari might not be able to survive. We're not seeing that snipe coming from this guy, Flash. And recovery is dwindling for the squad. The final player, though, from Team Flash. So there's a lot of risk involved. Hopefully he does have that stealth bites so that he can move closer next phase.
Absolutely. And Caesar now quite far away from this next circle. Celtic Hugo finding the headshot. No elimination as the player gets picked right back up. Caesar finding Pelopio, taking him out of the equation. GCT. Less one player on their side. ZMF is still alive. Talk about some consistency. Wiblex is going to be found. Mia Corps, Kappa in a lot of trouble. Celtic, on the other hand, up against INV. This is going to be a big fight for the squad. They all back away, moving to one side. Hugo teasing the squad from the front. A couple of grenades could put a very quick end to the whole squad of INV here.
Oh! Let's see,
There
Fury
you go.
Johan being taken down, and M79 though does help against the opponents within this trailer. Now, Celtic, they did lose Fury, but with those gunshots, with those nades, it pulled INT in. But this might be a good story, not only for Celtic, but also for Shadow 7, because they're slowly racking up numbers.
And Shadow 7 definitely needs those numbers, because the last time we checked, they were in the 12th spot. Only the top 12 can move forward, and they're way too close to the bottom. They need to climb this leaderboard as quickly as possible, as much as possible. ZMF, on the other hand, they're well on their way to the top. And they've got 4 squad members to stay alive a little bit longer to get the job done. And so does Shadow 7. Talk about the hustle here. GCT Arrow out early from this lobby, and INV looking for more net.
Now let's see if they can find more. Let's see if they can get a few, because they are in the target by a lot of teams. And with Celtic JG being taken out, now we have a great opening in the middle. We'll see though if CMF can disrupt Caesar. This is another of the final 3 players that they dealt with earlier, managed to eliminate them all at once, but CMF is still in a prime location despite of how far they are to shift.
Whoa, that grenade almost annihilated the squad. Had to invest that chrono. The time turner brought out. Fake 8 is going to be tagged up by Yans, who is in the right angle here. Uziel on the other hand, SKS, constant pressure, trying to break down all of these blue walls. Caesar under a lot of pressure to back away. Yancy again with the grenade, and it looks like it puts them all in danger. The rotations do not help them out. Darius is going to get taken out. A beautiful angle played perfectly by ZMF, proving that they can get to the circle very consistently. No eliminations earlier on. This time they get aggressive, and they're still fighting themselves deep into this game.
Oh, let's see. They are being given one more Jans right now. Let's see if they will be capitalizing on that chance that they are provided by the shift favoring Shadow 7. And again, Shadow 7 has great opportunities at this point. They are average 11 points in Solara, so they know the rotation quite well. They know that they can gatekeep the opponents. And now that Caesar numbers has dwindled and little no chance of really surviving, it gives them more opportunity to go for a snipe. And Sanchez 7, I was questioning his performance, but now I think he is responding quite well.
Absolutely. This is a very important game for Shadow 7, because Caesar is technically right behind them on the overall leaderboard, and Caesar making their way into this final circle is not good for Shadow 7 at all. They need to walk away with as many points as possible. If anything, the Booyah is going to be needed here for Shadow 7 to stay continuously alive in the competition and safe from Caesar taking their spot in the top 12. Speaking of which, Caesar out in 4th. ZMF versus Shadow 7 versus INV, and it looks like INV does not stand a very strong chance here unless Lady Luck is just totally their best friend.
Let's see though. I mean, friends can help you in most cases. Jans though, go for the flank, not being shot at. Let's see though where the rest of ZMF is, because they might be looking into a back-to-back Booyah if they can dwindle the number of Shadow 7. And there you have it. Shadow 7 stepping into Shadow right now, and Jans is making it work.
Absolutely. Time Turner pulled out already, and they lay out all of the ice grenades all around them. Jans once again with the Car 98 needs to step aside. The Cryo Mine played at the perfect timing. Shadow 7 losing 2 of the players, and ZMF wrapping up the game perfectly. All 4 players still standing strong as they walk away with their back-to-back Booyah.
And that's what we're talking about. I mean, earlier we're questioning why they don't have that much elimination. Only 4 when they ended that game. They try to recover and still manage to get the Booyah. We were just talking about how important the Booyah is, and this is the preparation that they're doing right now. Back-to-back Booyah, and this might spell them being the next champion.
The absolutely correct statement there, Neptune. It's all about who can pull away decent points and guarantee that Booyah. Guaranteeing that Booyah has been the most impossible task especially in a battle royale lobby where you can drop into some maps where you're not very proficient with. But ZMF showing us on a map where they're not so confident on, they made the run totally silent, right? Not looking for trouble, avoiding all engagements, just guaranteeing the booyah. On a map where they are comfortable on, they looked for those points. They knew they will be able to make those sharp rotations, and they were keeping each and every single rotation, compound to compound, making sure they always had a vending machine beside them. And thankfully, they didn't have to use it all that too much in this game.
I do agree. And this is a recap of what happened in Solara. But judging from how CMS is working right now, we've seen that tenacity in the group stage. Not so much in early parts, or not so much in latter part of the group stage though, but it's more of the early parts. But now, since we're talking about only 2 days out of knockout stage, their recovery is quite well. They've just changed their average out of 4 maps to increase above 11 points. And this move coming from CMF might bring them to the top of the table, pushing Zeus Esports down below.
Absolutely, man. There's just so much of chaos. So many things happened on this game, right? And this time, Zeus just unable to go as far. One could question whether or not Zeus has lost their consistency, but one could also assume that Zeus knows that they've guaranteed the grand finals for themselves already, so nothing much for them to go out there and prove. It's all about just showing up for the day so that they don't get penalized, man.
Well, let's see though. Let's see. So far, Shadow 7, another team that is doing quite well in this battle. Didn't expect them to really shoot up on coming from like below the top 12, but it is necessary for them, especially with how things are working right now. They need to get that practice similar to what we've seen in CMF, but Jans is one of those that has been using the stealth bites in the best manner. Like, he goes for a flank, he's not really risking giving out information where it is by pulling out the glue wall. What he's doing is just waiting for that stealth bite to expire before he pull out a glue wall, and he already have an angle to take for those shots.
Man, and again, Jans, this time MVP, 6 eliminations, 3 assists, 5,470 on the damage. This guy was tagging up everyone, and that perfect sniper build. You cannot deny the efficacy of that Maro-Raphael combination when you want to strike from afar as the sniper for your squad, especially with the assist of the auto aim with the Kar 98. You see how quick those jump shots have been giving Jans those knocks, those eliminations, and the flanks that is just powered up by the stealth bites with the Moors just made him so dangerous. But the head-to-head has got Palitoso being compared up against Uziel from ZMF.
Yeah, Uziel, the finisher from the previous map, has managed to be on the board once again for elimination. Close on the damage as well. The assist, though, more on Uziel. It's probably just because the opportunity of getting those elimination is favoring ZMF. And again, it seems like ZMF had a better run this time around. Out of 2 games, 2 of which is in the top 3, 2 of which is a booyah, and it increases their top 3 percentage to close to 67%. So that's 4 out of 6 games they are on top.
Yeah, so this effectively should put ZMF at the very top of the leaderboard because QE hasn't played just yet. They will be in participation for this next lobby. So obviously ZMF will have to figure out how they're going to deal with QE. But I don't think the focus is just for the #1 spot, right? ZMF is showing us that they are a team who can not just perform at our survival stage. We saw them in the survival group 2, and they've just been making a very consistent journey all the way down to our knockout stage and pretty much guaranteeing a participation for themselves in our grand finals tomorrow night.
Yeah, I do agree. But right now, I mean, Group B is going to sit this one out. And there's a few teams, really, that would be thankful that they will be able to rest. Because later on, once Group B has been introduced, they will be battling against Group A. They will have that information, especially in Purgatory. Because we don't have that information just yet. A knockout stage in Purgatory, most of it is coming from the group stage. So I'm really loving that there's still some familiar names out here that can carry over that numbers towards this next few games.
Absolutely. Let's check out the leaderboard to see how things have moved around. And as assumed, ZMF is at the top. 2 booyahs so far, proving that they can rock it. But again, the number of matches played by QE is going to allow them to catch up. DZ Esports as well. I mean, a 30-pointer from just one game is a very big possibility for DZ Esports, even if we are in the knockout stage. So I don't see that being impossible of a climb for DZ. Overall, I think the top 8 is pretty much solid. When you start looking towards, below that rank, from the 9th down to the 12th spot, that's where problem starts to arise now.
I do agree. I mean, that's where relegation is happening or might happen right now. But again, 2 matches already open, already done, and we're going to open the gates right now for Group A. We have Group C still involved, so teams like ZMF can continue their momentum. We have Zeus Esports, who are trying to catch up really, and GCT Arrow, who needs a lot if they want to maintain their top 6 position, and also Flash, and let's include Stellar Esports if they can catch up on numbers. But I would say even Stellar Esports, a good run with a Booyah might push them just on the 12th spot.
You are absolutely correct. The 2 teams that we must watch this time round, it's Flash, it's Stellar Esports, and they need massive games because it's their 2 final opportunities. And even if they put on their very best show, it's no guarantee whatsoever for them stepping into the grand finals. There are some other teams from Group C who are pretty much there already. GCT Arrows, UC Sports, ZMF. So, man, if they could do us all a favor, just sleep in this next lobby so that we can find some good fights down at the bottom. Because if these underdogs get taken out too early, then the run comes to an end here at the knockout stage. And Flash just has not been very flashy so far in this run. I'm wondering why, Neptune, because they were always a team that could perform on that final moment, right? When desperation calls, they respond, and they have been able to respond very well. Perhaps this is that desperate moment with 2 more games to go for them.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I think Solara is really one of their weakest maps, so that's one reason why they didn't really perform even in a catch-up game. But Saskari is not that strong as well compared to the first time we saw him introduced on Team Flash's side. Another team that we might be keeping our eye on, need to keep our eye on, is Zam Team, because being introduced in the next few games, their average, and when we look at the current map pool that we have for the next 4 games that they will be playing, it seems like they will be able to catch up to just the borderline of top 12. But if you look at their performance just in knockout stage, they're still in risk of relegation. So there's both sides, both phases that they need to work with right now. Are they going to bring back their tenacity from the survival stage to the group stage, or just be in the moment right now, and that moment is not working for them?
And of course, we got to see some crazy plays out of Crazy Minds as well. Crazy Minds is one of those teams who did not have to go through the survival antics, but they are fighting for their survival at this very point of time. I do agree with you. Zam team needs to step it up. But looking at their past performance, I think it's a team that should be able to guarantee at least 50 points out of their next 4 games, right? 50 points out of 4 games is not impossible for Zam team. And if they can do that, that'll definitely put them in the range of somewhere close between the 9th to the 12th spot. They should be in a decent run for the grand finals. But that's assuming everything goes their way, Neptune. Group A will have 4 more games to play, but Group C, only 2 more opportunities. Not going to be easy for these players of Flash as well as Stellar.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm going to put a number right here for both teams of Flash and Stellar. The goal would be, the cut line would be 80 points. If they can manage to get 80 points, then sure enough, they 80 points and above. Let's put a little bit threshold. But sure enough, they will be able to get into the grand finals. But if not, if they fail one more chance, then it would be difficult to say if they can make it.
And it's ridiculous, right? Because 80 points, if you assume that to be the cutoff, it basically means every game, as long as you pick up 10 points, which is nothing. 10 points is very low.
Yeah.
You should be able to guarantee yourself a spot in the grand finals, right? But of course, easier said than done for some of these teams, because the rotations are sometimes very much unpredictable. You don't have a scene where you know for sure exactly where everybody's going to go, where they're going to rotate from. Many variables, right? The flight path, which corner of the map the flight path's arriving from, to see who takes the drop first out of that flight. So many random stuff can happen out there that will challenge you if your team is not good at protecting themselves on those rotations, which is why we focused on some of those jump pads, which we don't see a lot being used out here. Man, those tack markets are there for a reason, Neptune. These teams need to start using it.
I do agree. I mean, tack markets it's readily available. It's unlimited use, but there's a cooldown involved. So, bring 2 tack markets. You have 2 chances of pulling it off in different order, and now you have a better chance of getting into a better spot within the circle. You have the knockers that can be used as well, can be bought out of that tack market. You have the UAVs as well that can be bought out of the vending machine. It just involves getting that much information, and it's a lot of effort in looting up those coins, but I would tell you it's definitely worth it.
But if you guys think that you know better, if you guys think that you can play better than some of these squads out there, we encourage you to join the qualifiers in-game. It's coming up very soon in August, the 7th to the 9th of August. That's exactly where you will see the Free Fire Cup in-game qualifiers. You just need a few team members. Call your friends who are really passionate about Free Fire. And even if they're not good yet, as long as there is passion and you guys are willing to invest some time training together, practicing, learning from whatever you're seeing on these broadcasts, trust me, there is a possibility you guys could go far. And think about this, right? If you're young, if you don't have, full on a lot of time to invest in becoming an esports professional, just get to a stage where you can rip away some of this prize pool. You just need to get to the top 12. And I think it's very much possible. Many teams are proving that, they were nowhere in the past 2 seasons, but now they are giving everybody else a run for their money and there's a possibility it could be you guys as well right after this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, trust me, listen to an old guy just like me who doesn't have this kind of opportunity when I was younger, when I'm capable of playing this well compared to the other kids that are here. So just take this chance. Like, what are you going to lose? You're already playing it. You're already watching pros. You're learning from the pros right now. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of discipline. That's one of the important thing that needs to be targeted as well in teammates. If you have the discipline to do what most of the latter half AJ mentioned on the checklist that you have, then you have a better chance of surviving as a team, winning all those games, as well as improving match after match, day after day.
Absolutely, man. A neuroplasticity is what they call it, right? That's what these younger kids have got as an advantage against us older people. You will be able to connect those neurons in your head a tad bit better than us as long as you put your mind towards something. I think this is a really good thing to put your mind towards, because it's not just about playing a video game, Neptune. And it's not like some brain dead thing that you're going to be doing out there. If you think you don't need some good brain cells to conquer in Free Fire, you are very wrong, my friend. There's so much of strategy, so much of thinking, there's so much of strategizing, communicating, and refining your strategy day after day after day to get to a level where some of these squads have gotten. And of course, there are many levels even beyond these teams that we are seeing out here. In the past 5 years of seeing teams play Free Fire professionally, I can guarantee you there's so much more out there. But even at this stage, the prize pool's pretty hefty, my friend.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, if you get in the top 12, that $1,000 gives you a lot of opportunities as well. Again, it's a frequency of the season that we have that would help you to get more. So, like, imagine you might be a top 12, getting in the grand finals, top 12 3 times in a year, and you get $3,000. But that's a matter of just being the same thing season after season. If you listen to half what we said and you keep improving, you might be getting $10,000 towards the end of the year if you play the whole season of FFWS USA.
Yeah, we literally have 4 seasons, my friend. Right? So you can actually build a very steady source of income for your squad. Prerequisite is obviously you have to put in the hard work. You have to be consistent. You have to go all out. And I feel like it's a win-win. You go all out to play some video games. You have fun whilst you earn money. But of course, speaking of earning the money, these squads out here need to earn a spot in our grand finals. That's exactly what the aim is for today. In the knockout stage, we are about to knock out 6 squads by the time we reach to the end. This is game number 3. We are at a halfway point now, Neptune.
Yeah, halfway point, and we are in our favorite map, Purgatory, where chaos might ensue depending on flight path. But look at the flight path right now. It's just on the south Forge heading into Crossroad, and it is still favoring the northern part. So those who are trying to get in Central and Fire Brigade might be in trouble of ending up somewhere in Brasilia, and that's where the hot drops often happen. But Ruthless be introduced into the mix. They are hungry to get points, and they are targeting teams like Zam Team.
Zam Team being forced to use the time turner very early here. And Kane playing that smartly, using the time turner to recover first before stepping out instead of just running and causing his team a few extra coins. Ref is going to get tagged up here from outside. And looks like the XM8 just not powerful enough. Young King sprayed down. Luisito finding the shot with the Kingfisher. 2 players down from the side of Zam Team. We talked about them having to make a big run, but it looks like they're about to be annihilated ruthlessly by RSS.
Oh, it's getting tough right now for Zam Team, and those plasma gun makes it even tougher. Now the chase is on. Will he be able to get it? 400, and there you go. X-Gain will be back, and let's see if Medina can save himself out here, or probably take down a few or one elimination, but he needs to be careful. Those haystacks does save him, but you see Rafer on a cord, that is deadly. But on the other side, no more booyah for ZMF. They got eliminated in the 12th place.
Yeah, you know, when you climb to the top and you're number one, sometimes there's nothing pushing you, there's nothing motivating you anymore. And ZMF said, we've done enough. We got to get to the grand finals, guys, so we can rest easy. Rafer, Luisito down. Pili and Coyote need to figure out exactly where these shots are coming from. O1 Esports arriving. The very bad timing for Ruthless. And the first part that they will look to overtake is that vending machine so that nobody pulls in those revivals, knowing that they've already taken out 2 players from the squad. But Ruthless is not that silly. They do get another player scanned out by the Dinoculars as well. A smooth approach coming through from O1 to guarantee themselves 3 easy points.
Let's see, 0-1. Will they be able to go for the flank? Not quite sure what the aviation for Lodix Bao now. But Lodix Bao has been introduced subbing in this fight, and Ruthless might be in trouble with a fresh new perspective out of 0-1, and X-Billy will be taken down. It's a good thing Coyote did manage to go for a revive onto Rafer, and the dream is still live for Ruthless.
Easy 3 points here for 0-1. They struck at a untimely manner for Ruthless, as they thought they just managed to get out of a equation where they were the winners. Backstabbed, they lost 2 players, and the third one just got taken out. And since it's still early game, that has basically cost them about 1,200 coins, Neptune.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's getting tough right now to really invest. You know how it is in Free Fire economy. You don't invest that much. If you don't save it up and start losing this fight, then you might be down in the dumps. Stellar Esports, though, team that has been down in dumps for so long, trying to catch up into numbers. Now they have 2, but they have to deal with a couple of players. Make that 3 players from Team Flash. And Chris 10, let's see if he can get down on it. He's the one who has brought down.
Absolutely. Both of these teams down in the bottom 6, so it's a big fight between Flash and Stellar Gaming. You know, on the pickup, and Stellar just cannot put an end to the squad just yet. Flash overwhelms them. Flash is the team that's a little closer, much closer to the top 12 compared to Stellar Gaming, who are 19 points behind Crazy Minds. Flash, on the other hand, is just 1 point behind. But we have to remember, this is the second last game for Flash, so they need to make the best of this. O1 Esports, 2 players down on the ground, and QE showing up strong. O1's not going to be able to recover from this one. They do have 1 final survivor in the name of Gotti, and he has managed to get himself far away from all the pressure that QE can bring to the table.
Yeah, he definitely got away from that. So QE is not one of the team that you want to deal with, especially with the performance that they have so far in this competition. One of the teams that managed to get a back-to-back booyah, similar to what we've seen in CMF, and it's not, I would say, even the other games is not that low in terms of number. Look at that, position-wise, despite of the chase that they could have been bringing out on final player of 01, they're just prioritizing and strengthening their arsenal right now, and they might be tougher to beat later on.
Flash with the 7 eliminations. They've already caught up with Celtic GG and where they stand on the leaderboard. Celtic GG needs to clean up their act, Neptune, because from a team that could guarantee a spot in the grand finals, they are now at the very edge of their seats, I hope, because the threat of being relegated is definitely there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty sure Celtic GG is watching these games and thinking, what can they do to clutch it? Or probably it might be part of the plan, because it's a similar story that we're seeing out of phase 1. We're in. Didn't see them perform that well, but they did manage to really get in. When I'm saying phase 1, I'm talking about the previous season. So they didn't really perform that well. And let's see though if they can do it this time around, because they were part of the survival stage. And it's quite surprising that Celtic GG was in there in the first place.
DZ wants to make a play for the #1 spot. Here comes Crazy Minds. Crazy Minds too low down the leaderboard. This is about to turn very ugly if they cannot get those revives coming on through. Into trying to stand his ground, but will get knocked down. Kelvin showing up at the best time here. Crazy Minds. 2 more players up on their feet. Mayo right beside the vending machine. Focuses on picking up his buddy first. Needs to get the revives in, but he will not have to do that if he can get to his buddies quick enough.
Let's see, Pianito could have double backed already, get into the vending machine and go for that revive, but N2 will be revived already. Here comes Pianito, but he's the one being played, and it's Calvin! M1887 domination, and this might be it. 4 teams like Crazy Mind. He's going, like, making us go crazy with the decisions that they're making.
Absolutely. Crazy Minds, where are you? Final play into... his foot sticking out! He just showed himself. And he might have just messed this up, man. He was thinking he could camp away on the roof, wait for DZ to get away from this compound, and then potentially bring his buddies back in.
Angle?
But DZ is going to look for that angle. And I feel like they might just be able to make this climb.
Let's see though. Launchpad! He's doing everything in his power to be able to get an angle against Into. Sees him on a jump, but didn't expect him to get this high. Now, he managed to get down, and that little bit of cover might be saving them. Now, the question for DZ though is, you're going to remain here and wait to eliminate Crazy Minds, or can we just move on to the next one?
I think you should have just jumped straight onto the roof, but he didn't want to take that risk. Although they had 2 players, which is just weird, because they could have just gotten an easy point there, but they're actually going to allow him to revive his team members. So this is fun. DZ showing some mercy. So all right, we understand. You guys want to survive. We just want to find the top spot. So they drive away from the spot. Surprisingly, Zeus has just been on that recovery streak for quite a while now.
Yeah, I mean, Zeus is in trouble, especially after losing those fights earlier. I think from what I'm seeing, I mean, this is just an assumption from my side, after what happened earlier, it might trigger an infighting, and they're slowly losing out on the coordination. So this is something that we don't expect out of Zeus or a brand like Zeus, because we've seen them in so many games already, even in the previous season. And even if they're comfortable right there on the top of the leaderboard, they don't really have to do so much, but it might take a toll on the grand finals.
Maybe not, because they could just be like ZMF, just giving some room for all of these players. Remember, I asked them to fall asleep in this lobby, and they're saying, okay, Mustachio, we needed the rest anyway. Zam team, one of the teams who are in a lot of danger down at the bottom if they don't put up some decent points on the leaderboard from each and every single game. I'm expecting at least 15 points out of Zam team, and they're quite far away from that mark at the moment.
Oh yeah, I mean, 15 points from here, plus another 15 points for Buffer, then they will be safe. They could be safe on the top 12. But There's a lot of slowdown right now, especially in the introduction of a new team. Only one team has been eliminated, and compared to what we've seen in the first two games of today, there's not so much of engagement that is happening. Like a few, only one against each other. It's not more of a team versus team right now, and they're smartening it up. We were talking about recovery, and I think that's what's happening right now.
Absolutely, and Stella looking for the flank. Lightning zone's going to be called out as well. Chris, a sliver of health, and Mag 7 just can't get the finisher. Gugita with the Punisher on that M590. Stella losing the first player as the attackers. Crazy finds the M79 knockdown as well. And how did Crazy get out of that one with his health? I have no idea. Just a sliver left on him, and he still manages to survive. And QE with the Lightning Zone overwhelmed Stella Gaming, who came in for the attack. A brilliant defensive strategy. Just cost them 1,000+ points.
Yeah, it's tough. Now, here comes some teams, some players from Ruthless rather, and Crazy Mind got eliminated. I was expecting them to really move up a little bit more. Probably the trouble that they were faced into against DZ really took a toll on them. Doesn't have that much coin to go for revive, and even they get revive, you see how much of these players are looking up the moment that they get a cue that someone is falling onto their area.
Remember, Neptune, Crazy Minds, they ramped up their efforts way too late in the previous group stage. And they got lucky, man. They got lucky that they got this spot. But now, again, the same patterns are showing up. They do have 3 more games to play, so that's the only blessing in this equation. But Flash should overtake them on the leaderboard after this game. RSS looking for the climb as well. This is the Ruthless squad up against QE. They are very unfortunate because QE is more ruthless. And when a ruthless squad comes across one who's a tad bit more ruthless, you lose your lives instantaneously. Gabi Yoda and squad. Zeus finding O1 Esports. GCT Arrow, DZ. Holy Lord, O1 being pelted by bullets from all around. 3 squads shutting them down at the same time.
Yeah, it's been getting tough for O1, but here is one thing that you need to expect. When you have a compound that has multiple levels in small circles, you might see QE take that. We've seen that from yesterday's game. This is one of the best plan that QE has managed to pull off. Take that elevation, but does have the cover, and then that's where they wait for the perfect opportunity. And there's a perfect opportunity to really gun down on them because they're outside the next phase of the circle, tagged up with the binoculars, and they might be caught off guard on rotation.
O1 very unlucky. Just out in the open, and all the squads just choosing to focus fire, take them out of the equation, and the teamwork, the enemy of my enemy, definitely my friend in a battle royale, but I would prefer it if I can have the last shot, so the point goes to my squad.
Yeah, go ahead. Take it. Take it. I implore you to take them down first, and then I eat it up later. But Zam team being eaten up by DZ. Great position right now. And looking at where the next phase of circle would be, we are going to see some water time. Half in the water, almost half in the water, half into the edges. But Zeus Esports being eliminated. QE being knocked down, and it's GCT Arrow bringing the fire. M79 plus M590. That is just pure destruction.
It's unfortunate we missed that whole fight. That would have just been golden. And the M79 coming out. The grenades that we have been talking about for the longest of time, Neptune, to say that we missed them in this lobby. They showed up, and they showed up strong. Speaking of another grenade, you know, tossed towards Calvin, will not find it. Mini UAV sent out just to make sure they still stand on the ground. A tad bit stronger. Flash with the defense off of the Arsenal. Finally taking the fight up to their opponents, and DZ being crushed by Flash. But 2 of their players struck down. Mateos and Saskari looking for the flank. And they will both deliver for Flash. You know, the sacrificial lamb for Flash, but they've gotten the points required, man. We talked about Flash. They were in the bottom 6. In fact, they were on the 13th spot, and they needed to overtake Crazy Minds. With the early exit of Crazy Minds, Flash has definitely made that climb. But can they make a monumental climb to guarantee themselves a spot in the grand finals? We talked about a team that only wakes up when they truly need to, and this is that moment, Nep.
Let's see, though. And Saskari will be taken down. I thought it was Brian who might have an opportunity to go for backstab against Saskari. Zescari just drive in front of Brian, but it's GCT Arrows bringing in the pressure. Now, there goes the takedown by Mateos. We're down to a 1v1 unless a pickup will be done, but Brian waited on. GCT Arrow, no effort needed from Pelon, and he did it going solo.
Yeah, the second booyah for GCT Arrow here in our knockout stage, and this is their second last game, so you understand the hustle. They wanted to guarantee themselves the spot in the grand finals. You talked about a 80-point cutoff. Before this game, they were sitting on the 85. They were like, what if Neptune is wrong? What if somebody catches up with us? We can't fall asleep just yet, and good on you, boys. You are absolutely correct. You can never be too sure, man. You got to pick up as many points as possible to guarantee yourself a spot in the grand finals, and this was that game for GCT Arrow.
Yeah, I mean, even before this performance, their projected rank would be in 7th place. So I'm really looking at GCT Arrow to be sure enough to be in there. But, I mean, it's good to question me as well, the numbers that are bringing in, because there's also some few adjustment in the cutoff, because based on how top-heavy or bottom-heavy the teams will be bringing in those eliminations. So those will change, number will change, but the performance needs to be consistent right now.
Yep, and Celtic GG will officially move into the bottom 6 because of what just happened. And I feel like it would be insane if they can recover somehow, right? Crazy Minds will be pushed into the bottom 6 guaranteed. Celtic is dangerously close to the bottom 6. They'll have to be very careful. Very curious about the overall points on the leaderboard, because so much of action, Neptune, we couldn't keep track on the number of eliminations that each and every squad had before they got taken out of the lobby.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's just getting tougher and tougher right now to spot out all those engagement. And it's not as if they're not engaging. It was a slow lobby, I would say, but the moment that one team starts to go for a fight, another will be happening on the other side. And it's like, for the final circle, I guess this is a good story for those taking the booyah, especially in this one wherein it's only left with not a full squad. You have less teams to deal with when engagement and elimination or team elimination is happening before that final phase.
Yeah. And Flash just knew that this was that game where they could not drop the ball. They were in the bottom 6. They wanted to climb. And I feel like they would do more than climb. They are soaring right now because those were some solid points from the squad. Unfortunate that Zescari got taken down a tad bit too early. But this play from Mateos, taking down Wasson, and for the final shot onto Calado. But the circle, of course, ate him up right after that. He didn't have enough time to recover. Or else it would have been a phenomenal run from Flash to wrap up that great game with a booyah as well. Would have been sweet for them. But GCT Arrow sneaking the booyah away.
Well, GCT Arrow definitely sneaky enough. Another player that's sneaky with that stealth bites is Pelon. Final shot, give him that 7 elimination. No headshots, no problem. Forces 3,910 on the damage. And a standard sniper build other than that Suzy Money Mark that secures that they can bring some of the players back in if needed.
Yeah, no marker, no problem, I guess, for Peon, as he is still a very deadly sniper with the Maro-Raphael combination. Has the R1 for the Dinoculus. This is the guy that's responsible for bringing the team members back if anything goes sour. And obviously, scanning out areas will be very helpful. 22 out of 89 eliminations for GCT Arrow in this awakening for the squad.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they have awakened. They got up on the right side of the bed, and now they are bringing the numbers. And sure enough, with this performance, they could have pushed down both Zeus Esports as well as QE or Kiskaya, and and they might be the ones on that #1 spot. But how far are they? Because there's still one more chance for some teams right now. If they opted for that recovery, QE can still take the #1 spot before the end of their run for today.
Absolutely, man. Look at us just talking about who wants to take the #1 spot. Although it matters not at all, right? There's just no bonus whatsoever there. It's the damage bonus, though. The bounty for the overall damage is still going to be on the table. The bounty for the day with elimination is still going to be on the table. So today is a double bounty day that I'm looking forward to. But Neptune, it's inconsequential, right? Which team gets that #1 spot. But you definitely want to flex a little bit before you head into the grand finals. I don't know if you want to pull so much attention to your squad before we get there, but teams like QE, obviously, they're not too far away from the number one spot. Yes, GCT Aero has now overtaken them, but they'll just need to sneeze and they'll get forward. Granted, because nobody wants to stand in front of you and once you're sneezing, so they'll step out of the way. But either way, very worried about Celtic GG because little by little, their performance is dwindling.
Yeah, exactly. I think I do agree with you from your first point earlier. Celtic GG has been pushed down on the 13th spot, or away from the top 12. But another thing that's worrying me is the performance of some of the teams. But before we go there, we're going to go for a quick break. When we return, more of Battle continues, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
Focus, aim, ready. Focus, aim, ready. Speed up in the race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass, gotta level up your game. Looking for the fight, target inside. An eye for an eye, gotta level to the sky. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. Got nothing to lose and I'm coming for you. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I pull the trigger. Higher level. Higher, higher level. I pull the trigger. Higher level. I pull the trigger. Higher I pull the trigger. Speed up in a race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass, gotta level up your game. Looking for the fight, target inside. An eye for an eye, gotta level to the sky. I dream bigger, that 10 figure. My aim is quicker, I pull the trigger. I dream bigger, that 10 figure.
Welcome back, survivors. This is the Free Fire World Series USA 2026 Summer. And so far, the journey has definitely been arduous for some of them, but it's going to come to an end. Whether it's a sweet end or a really bitter end here at the knockout stage, we'll find out in a couple of matches. We've got 3 matches to go, as a matter of fact, but in a couple of games, we should be able to tell exactly who's going to be crying by the end of the day. The journey still doesn't end after that, though, because we've got one more day, the grand finals that we are all waiting for. My name is AJ, I'm the Mustachio, down here with the one and only Neptune the German Garcia. We are your casters, and we just have to thank the teams for all of this excitement, for all of this joy that they've been bringing to our lives with these matches, man.
I do agree. I mean, some teams are really turning things around. They're flipping the table against those who are trying to catch up, and there's only little chance right now, especially for Group C. Only one more in Nextera onto next game, and it will be getting tough right now. Those in Group C that might not be able to make it because of how far they are, but it's also with other teams performing against them is Stellar Esports. So if they can manage to get at least 13 or 14 points with a little bit of buffer on the time that they rest, they might still make it, but it's a long shot.
Long shot indeed, but we need to see the numbers, my friend. We need to see exactly how far away some of these squads are from the top 12 spots. And like you said, actually a few teams will only have just one more game to go. This is going to be a tough run for them for sure. We're looking at the teams who are going to be able to make this big climb, right? Teams like Zeus Esports, ZMF, they don't really need to hustle all that too much. There might be an ego fight out of QE in the next couple of games to show that they can climb the leaderboard as well and end up on the number 1 spot. But the more interesting, talking point for is obviously is going to be whether or not the bottom 6 is going to be able to climb. Teams like Ruthless, Zam Team, Stellar Esports, we've been keeping an eye on them, and not everyone has been able to rise up to the top just yet, my friend.
Well, as we look at the leaderboard right now, let's look at the shift our focus on the second page. Nova Esports seems like they are not doing quite well right now, especially with the run that they have, that they were seconding onto ZZ Esports, but it seems like there's a lot of catch-up that needs to be done. 1NT tried earlier, but I think it's a little too late right now, and the same goes for Stellar Esports. Sam Team, though, has a good chance to end up close, if not above the top 12, so they just need to hustle even more. They have a few more matches for their side for them to recover.
Nova, Ruthless, Zam Team all have 2 more games to go to make this big climb. They are from Group A, and Group A will be in performance later on. This is going to be the final game for Group C. So earlier, we saw Flash make the best of their second last game. Now it's going to be their final opportunity. As Flash has managed to swim out of these dangerous waters. Stellar, though, the exact same grouping along with the squad of Flash, have not been able to do that at all, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's very difficult for some teams. Looking at the numbers, if we have 80, if we're looking at the average per map, then 84 will be our target. But when we look at the overall standings, what we have earlier, seems like it's a different calculation that needs to be done right now. So depending on what performance they're going to take, is it the overall from survival stage, group stage, up until knockout stage? The performance needs to be on point. It needs to be consistent, but there's only less chances to work with right now. And those who needs to really move up is losing all those opportunities, especially for those with only one more match into next one.
Yeah, but of course, as we progress deeper and deeper into the competition, things are going to get dicey, right? Because we have already weeded out the teams who are not going to be able to survive as well. And even amongst Titans, you do have a hierarchy of power. Unfortunately, some teams just need to be at the bottom, regardless of how good, how promising they have been in the competition so far. But luck can twist anybody's fate around. A moment where you are about to get kicked out of the lobby, and then a third party comes into the situation, starts attacking your predators, and you as the prey get to scurry away on a couple of revives. Luck is definitely an element we have to look at when we look at the survivability of the teams who are down in the bottom 6. Again, Group C on their final run after this, and then we will be able to see exactly what Group A can make out of their opportunities. Neptune.
Exactly. I mean, Group C would be in the final run. We're going to introduce Group B on a Game 5 and 6, and that's where things would be much easier for those who are already on the board, already on top of the board, and just needs a few more just to stay on top. I'm talking about Shadow 7 as well as Caesar, but it depends on the number that's going to be brought in by those who there will be chasing on the leaderboard. So there's a lot of storyline that can evolve out of this, but it just have to happen quite quickly. Next maps that we're going to see is Nextera, Kalahari, as well as Solara. So this is this final game would be the next time that we're going to, second time that we're going to see Solara, and that's favorable for those in Group B because that's twice in one day that they're going to play that map, and they should have learned something from that second game.
Absolutely. So just to give you guys a quick recap, we have Group B, who have 2 more games to go. Group A, who have 3 games to go, and Group C, who are on their one last match, right? So the ones who are at most risk is obviously the teams who are in Group C, who are very far down the bottom. We just saw the big climb for Flash, but they are not totally safe just yet, Neptune. Again, the cutoff that you've named is 80 points. They're sitting on 79 points right now. That is not good at all. But to surpass 80, to even get into the 90 zone, if they pull off that performance again, obviously they can guarantee themselves a spot in the grand finals. That's exactly what Flash has to be looking out for. Whether or not Stellar Esports is going to be able to pull away a miraculous run, obviously at this point of time, it's going to be impossible, right? Because they are only about 40 plus points away. 40 plus points into the knockout stage so far. And they'll need to get a 30 plus bomber to stand a chance. In fact, a 40 bomber to really guarantee themselves a spot.
Yeah, even if they get into top 12 right now, there's still risk because there's still a few more matches for Group A and B. So that's just unfortunate for the team. If they're just chasing on that, it's a tough calculation. It's tough to start for them. But guess we're ready. We're about to find out how it's going to start and end for these groups, especially in Group C, as we jump into the next game. Next map is Nextera. This map has brought in a lot of numbers in terms of elimination. If most of them survive, the number of compounds that can be worked with, as well as the vending machine that is available, would help them in that recovery run.
Absolutely. GCT Arrow is very proficient on this map, and since this is their last game, their last opportunity to impress, their last opportunity to remain on the #1 spot and not allow QE to take it away from them, they have to go all out. We have to see every little bit of effort from GCT Arrow if they want to flex, if they want to play the ego game, because technically speaking, they don't need to do anything in this lobby. They've already qualified to the grand finals.
And the same goes for DZ Esports. From when they started in survival stage up until yesterday's game, they have grabbed 2 booyahs already, total 102 points for them. So they're more capable, but the same story similar to GCT Arrow. I think they've done enough to be able to get in the top 12. Those who really need to do the chasing right now, especially out of Group C, would be O1 Esports and Flash. You already talked about Team Flash, but let's take a peek though on where the teams will be heading right now. And this map, Flight is ready. It is coming from Intellect Center, and I believe from what we're looking at, it's between Deca Square and Mudside where this flight will be ending. So hot drops might be happening right now in the middle of this map, unless everyone decides to go on edge.
GCT Arrow, the team who's right at the top at the moment. We can pierce everybody through their hearts. And speaking of hearts, the team that has managed to steal away many hearts so far. Zeus up against QE, who's looking for the #1 spot. And QE finds 2 players. It's both Almir. Almir on fire. And Zeus sent scrambling from the very start.
I do agree with Ego Chow because they don't really have to do anything right here, but they still drop against QE. This is preparation for grand finals. If they can do it against QE, they might be able to get that championship, but it's getting tough as Zeus Esports might be taken down and eliminated from this game. QE survives and maintain their spot.
it's Zeus just being Zeus, man. They've given away a lot of money to QE now. Through those eliminations, QE should be able to have a stronger start and guarantee the #1 spot for themselves by the end of this one. O1 Esports, on the other hand, will quickly find the reposition as they continue to hunt down Zam Team.
Let's see, Zam Team, well, a team that will definitely be in trouble if they don't go for those elimination and numbers. 0-1 Sport, we were talking about them, last chance for the team of Group C, but back to Zam Team, Stellar Gaming. Team that is at the bottom already, good target to play against, but it's not looking good for that team. But here comes 0-1 trying to beat down some players of Zam Team, and good overwatch as well from 0-1 Esports, making sure that no one can pull any surprises against them.
If Zam Team ends 0-1 Esports right now, there is a potential that 0-1 does not make it into the grand finals. Although they are currently in the top 12, they're still very dangerously close to the cutoff point. They need to put on more points, and I think it's best for 0-1 to just stay silent in these lobbies, right? They are on the hunt. They should stop hunting. They should just try to get into that final circle to guarantee themselves a spot. Overconfidence might not serve your squad well if you falter early. Medina, with the stealth bites, will do well to get out of a pickle.
Oh, let's see. I'm hearing a vehicle right there. I believe it's coming from 0-1 Esports going for the flag. Crazy Minds being eliminated,
GG.
and QE is just in the roll. Now Gotti got himself in a good position, but Medina already spots him. Woodpecker would be deadly, especially on a headshot, but here comes another player who pulled up a surprise. On the other side, Flash, though, will be eliminated, so last chance for Team Flash in this game, lost just like that.
Okay, Flash is in trouble. This is not good for Flash at all. They did not get far. They did not get many points, and they are way too close to the cutoff line. It's now all about the hustle from these other squads. And if you look at teams who are below them, if you look at Shadow 7, Cartel Sir, Crazy Minds, they all have so many more games, bro. It's more than enough to climb the leaderboard. So Flash, all they can do now is just sit and be nervous and hope and pray that what they've done is more than enough. Zam Team on the recovery, 6 eliminations in hand so far. Zam Team's one of those squads who's looking to take the spot away from Flash.
Oh yeah, I do agree. Zam Team is very close to that 12 spot, but they need to do a lot more in terms of numbers. Now, Cito, GCT Arrow still continues on the run, Pilon on the snipe, but they're just hunting everyone onto the edges. And Nova Esports currently at the bottom leaderboard. They need to be silent, but bring in the numbers from far. Still unlikely to be able to get into grand finals unless it's a massive game.
Oof. I've just got so many numbers running through my mind right now. I am... I'm getting tired already thinking about it.
Are you getting sick and tired of math, bro?
I've been sick and tired of math ever since I was born, man. I've never been a big fan of math at all. See, oh, what a phenomenal 1v1. They knock each other down to the ground. And Garcia is about to expire if none of his buddies get to him. And it looks like they're just gonna depend on the revivals instead. Chris will have enough money to bring his buddies right back, and the information is sent. They communicate that over. Garcia ends his help me streak. And Stella's right back in here, but up against QE, who might look up into the skies. And see the Stellar Gaming players drop back in here. Might just draw them out as QE looks for some strong points on the battlefield.
Look at that path the QE has taken. They're already in Rustdown, starting it off in Intellect Center, and they're just hunting the edges of the circle, or every circle. Now, DZ though with 5 elimination, shot and nade on the other side. It's Uziel with M79, and I love it when players start listening. Now they're bringing in the nades in this fight, and ZMF wants to get that Puyo once again.
Yeah, thank you very much, players, for listening, because man, those grenades are going to make a very big difference, especially in those final circles, especially if you're looking to dominate Free Fire World Series USA, come champions by the end of the run. Without those grenades, the journey is just so much more tougher. Walk away from this battle, it's not an option for ZMF. DZ's got them cornered in already, 2 players scanned out by the Dinoculars, and it has to be a ZMF Dinocular. But 2 of their players just do not stand their ground well at all. Venda's taken out of the equation. Lucas, the final one here, but I guess DZ, the job's done already. Lucas used up his Riptide Rhythm on the hunt for Kevin now. This is a risk, but DZ has got nothing to lose.
Oh, let's see. Nothing to lose, more to gain. And a lead from high top. Goes in for a snipe and still no slowing down, other than the previous games wherein they got eliminated a little bit early, but QE is still on point and they want to get the damage dealer of this knockout stage.
We talked about how GCT Arrow is the most proficient one on this map, and they're proving it thus far with their rotations and engagements. ZMF on a little bit of a recovery, but QE is just going to be picking up easy points off of them. Their players are spread out a little bit too far away from each other. Another revive will bring another ZMF point into play here, and Kevin found by Elite. QE just harvesting ZMF lives.
Oh, I mean, they're harvesting a lot of lives right here. Again, rotation is always on point from northern part of the map. Now they are in the southern part of the circle, and they can go for a full 360 already if they head into, say, Pazaria, Grab Labs. And from what I'm looking at the zone right now, it is within the area of Farmtopia and Museum. So it's a full rotation that is being done by QE to be able to hunt more.
Samti with 7 eliminations, the team that is looking for the top 12, and technically one of the squads that look very capable of getting it done. They don't need a lot. Ruthless in the same situation as Samti. Both these squads are in Group A. Unlike Nova, they just have to give us an average of maybe 10, 12 points to guarantee the spot, maybe 15 points per game, and they should be able to make this, Neptune. But Ruthless still quite far away from that mark. With just 1 elimination in their hand so far. But they've got the coins, though, if anything does go wrong.
Yeah, well, let's see, though. I mean, Ruthless is one of those teams that try their best to be in the top, but come a knockout stage, they couldn't maintain that top 3 lead, that top 3 consistency. So it's just the pressure coming from those Titans in this lobby, but Zam team bringing the numbers already. 7 elimination, targeting Ruthless from that compound, and they might still be able to get an angle once they take the jump onto the next level.
Nova's asking for trouble here. Engaging with GCT Arrow, thinking that they've got a decent chance to take them out of the equation, breaking down their defenses with the cord. And GCT Arrow is actually choosing to find a different entry towards this next compound, not wanting to deal with the pressure off of Nova. That might just put them in the crosshairs of QE, though, as they rotate around. So this is something that GCT really needs to think about. They might just take this fight and regret it, Neptune.
Oh, let's see who's going to bring a regret. GCT Arrow out in the open right now. Nade onto them. I don't know what they are trying to do with those recovery, but Pelon did manage to go for a knock, and that distracts QE on the target. It's Colado up close and person. The clutch kid couldn't clutch it because it doesn't have the M1887. QE is slowly dwindling, and will they be survived? Lil Flea being taken out. Only 1 remains.
The perfectly timed extreme encounter off of that Zayn. The damage from Colado. Peon with the follow-up. And Wason Pew drops by to say hello to the rest of them as well. Maintaining the averages, but Amir, the dominator of QE, shows up. And instantly, instead of equalizing the playing field, they turn it around and they send GCT scrambling for the revival through Peon.
Oh God, QE.
Man.
Clutch Kings, I would say, with how they're performing right now. I'm really loving the prioritization coming from this team. They know how to make it work, and they isolate just players of a GCT Arrow. Now, Leonardo will be revived. They're heading outside the zone. 300 more to go in for another recovery. Plazaria is quite near with, I would count, 600 that he could get before getting to that vending machine.
But again, no team boosters. They are tanking a lot of damage from outside the circle here. 10 minutes in, it's going to be a little difficult. And the GCT Arrow player needs more coins, man. You gotta hate it, bro. When it's 400, it's fairly easy to bring your players back in here. But when it's 600, you gotta struggle. Uziel sprayed out of the skies. ZMF losing another player. Ruthless harvesting whatever they can. Inside of this lightning zone, it is going to be a tad bit difficult for Stellar. They need to look for cover, and they're heading straight to 0-1 for that.
Let's see, Stellar right now going for survivability, but we've seen it so many times. They don't survive that well. I'm not jinxing them. It's just the facts right now based on their performance. And GCT Arrow feeling the wrath of other teams. I don't think they can recover that much after what the failure that they experienced earlier against QE. But back to 0-1 Esports, just waiting for the opportunity within the next this phase. A circle managed to take a shot on Garcia. I'm hurt, but good thing that Stellar managed to go in for a revive. But is this enough? Because Ruthless is counting on that.
Yeah, check out Ruthless. 6 team boosters activated. This is one of the squads that can spend a little bit of time outside the circle as if they're on a holiday and still survive. But of course, they're not looking to do that. It's only for extreme cases. They'll have to depend on a strategy like that. But Ruthless needs to find a way off of this roof, which is going to be a little difficult with Zam Team and Stellar Gaming flanking them left and right.
Yeah, let's see though, Stellar Gaming. Hopefully they can at least get a few more coins to revive final player, gives them more chance of surviving this fight. Ruthless though will be taken with its zone in a bit. Zam Team Medina, quick movement or probably a late aiming from X-Billy, but Limaz doesn't survive that drop. So this is the trouble when you're reviving your teammates and not giving them cover out of those sniping them down.
Kristen, all alone here. Luisito looking for the advantage, already pre-aiming the angle.
Nice.
Garcia, the save is perfect. And Zam Team looking for the next circle and should be able to get there first before the players of Ruthless. QE on the way into this battle as well. And I have no idea what they're doing there, but they're going to cause some chaos.
Oh, yeah, indeed. Chaos with a K. And Zam Team might be the next target.
GG.
But Stellar Esports, despite of them surviving Ruthless as well as Zam Team, QE steps in and says, "You're nothing." Takes him out in a few seconds.
Barely a few seconds, man. You blink and they're gone. Stella's good, but QE is phenomenal. Elite down on the ground. Almir, though, the most dangerous player on the side of QE, still up on his feet. They look for the recovery first. Zampi pressuring them from the right-hand side. The circle is going to be pressuring them from the back, and they can't flank towards the left because Ruthless is there. QE might just need to take this fight up against Zam Team, and I don't think they'll back away from it. Kane, Almir, M590, both in their hands, but one glue wall standing between the two squads. They break it down with the Valiant Dash, and Almir straight in. Elite finds the up-close and personal snipe, and Zam Team dismantled by QE.
Bro, QE even successfully looted up an ultra airdrop before they went in against Zam Team. Think about that. I mean, most of the time they are being rushed. You won't even focus on other things, but QE just knows how to multitask at this point, and they're bringing in the numbers close to 20 already. But Ruthless right now being pressured by 0-1 as well as Nova. It's not looking good for all the three teams clumped up together, and QE might get their next booyah.
Absolutely. 0-1 looking for the final game finisher, strong as well. Ruthless has got 2 more games, so they're not too worried. This is just their start to dominating and to guarantee a spot for themselves in the grand finals. But obviously, the biggest smiles out there on the battlefield, on the faces of the QE players. Van Dijk brought right back in here. Nova on a desperate run, Neptune. But I think it's safe to say they don't even have enough opponents on the leaderboard, on the battlefield right now to harvest, to climb the leaderboard anymore.
Yeah, it's getting tougher. They will just be the distraction for most cases at this point. But it's good thing they have 10 eliminations already. They can bring more 8, or rather 6 more. Because it's being still in the way. Van Dijk with a Winchester takes down Rafer. And Ruthless right now, ruthlessly being annihilated.
Nova is in Group A, so there's 2 more opportunities for them. Seeing them make their way into this final circle gives me a little bit of confidence, Neptune. But as I speak of them, Van Dijk, Hayate down on the ground, the pickup for Hayate is going to be the prioritization here. Since Van Dijk was just a tad bit too far, can go with the cord in hand. Lightning zone called out.
Oh.
Nowhere to run. Out in the open. This is going to be tough to survive for QE and Ruthless.
I mean, it's the great timing for QE. The moment that they felt and heard those lightning zone, they stepped in the compound. So there's really no trouble for them right now. Only Coyote who might be having that problem. Stairs being made by King Gold. Again, they might have been good with Legos when they were smaller.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But the glue wall melters laid out there to take their Lego pieces down.
Oh.
QE up against Hayate, who gets a double for himself. 13 elimination strong. Nova looking to finally end the dominant run of QE here. They'll have to split away first so that they can get into a better spot. No lightning zone since Nova's used that already. Now is that moment where he would have come in quite handy, my friend.
Yeah, let's see though. I don't have enough to even buy that from the attack market. Let's see, Elite. I'm not saying it's available, but if they have it available. T-kill though! No available shots against Elite! And they're slowly going down.
Oh,
Elite
GG.
is still on the roll! Not spotted that easily! And only Hayate remains! And this is it! QE might be seeing their next booyah, but I thought that could have been a clutch, but unfortunately QE once again. It is 3 booyahs in the knockout stage.
Yeah, Elite just having the right angles, having the right gun, the AWM getting the double knock onto the Nova players, and of course, as always, Almir up close and personal. The M590 never fails to deliver, and in a lobby as savage as this, to never fail to deliver up on the front lines is a very impressive run for sure. Almir, I can say, is one of the more proficient M590 users in the league so far.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, it's just tough to go against him. I believe he's one of those who managed to go for a 1v3 clutch with M590. So it's just showing the tenacity of QE that they didn't show that much in the earlier days of this competition. But I'm just loving how they're working right now. And also with the most that they've done so far, there's really no need. But again, it's the flexing power they have. If they can take the #1 spot, then they will be able to get a few more out of this competition. And when I say a few more, I'm talking about those bounties that we have set for the teams right now, is bringing in elimination as well as damage.
So we have confirmed the exit of one team from the grand finals. One team that does not make it out of the knockout stage is going to be Stellar Esports. Unfortunately, the points that they've brought in so far is not going to be sufficient, and that was their last game. We have got 2 more matches to go, and that'll be the battle between groups A and B. And if you're looking towards the bottom 6, or if you remember the teams in the bottom 6 earlier, Neptune, we've got quite a number of squads from groups A and B sitting in there. So it's going to be a very exciting lobby for sure. I hope the big dogs at the top don't really mess around so much in these next 2 lobbies. But as far as GCT Arrow was concerned, the climb into a better spot was one that was of no negotiation at all. They're one of the teams that are trying to fight with QE for the #1 spot, but that was their final game. It was their final attempt.
Yeah, final attempt for recovery, final attempt to be in the #1 spot. And hopefully they have put in so much already to get those bounties requirement in. But it's getting tougher and tougher because we have QE on top. They're still performing that well, and they still have a few more games to do. And it's not looking good for that chase. But going back into those trying, making their way on the catch-up game, we have Group A and B. Again, Cardinal Sur or Caesar will be back in play. They would be able to catch up after being brought down past the 12th spot. Celtic GG though still questionable, depending if they bring back their previous performance from before the knockout stage, then they might be able to do it.
I will not put aside 1NT, who can make a miraculous run, Neptune. I will not put it past them. They're 22 points away from the 12th spot, but very doable if they wake up in the competition. But Team Quisqueya, QE, with their 3rd booyah here at the knockout stage. And the MVP, the sniper of the squad. Man, I think they're going for the bounty for damage. And Elite is personally making sure they get their 11 on the eliminations. 4 headshots, 6 assists, 7,635 monstrous damage out of the prime sniper of the team. With the Morse, and as we have already analyzed earlier, instead of the Moko, he brings the Suzy in. That just means more coins, more possibility to use stuff in the tag market to purchase, and you know the coins definitely do run the game quite a bit now.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess one reason as well why they are so strong. They have been looting up in their rotation, not only getting all those points in, but looking at the rest of the squad. So that's 11 out of Elite, and we have 9 out of Almir. So it's 20 just for the 2 of them. And this comparison of the head-to-head, well, this is final player from the team of Nova, and Hayate does have that experience. Previously, coming from a team previously known as Red Eagles, he was wearing that tag from the earlier parts of this competition. That reminded me that they're the ones who can clutch up the game, and they're trying to do so.
No doubt at all, man. Of course, Almir QE overall will end their run here at the knockout stage in a extremely impressive manner. I feel like the CQCs, the long range, have all been perfect for the squad. The rotations have been super sound. The decision making on when to go in for a fight and the timing of executions of these ambushes have been planned out really well for QE so far. They look like a strong team that will be able to perform well in the grand finals, and that is where we're going to see them as Group A. They are in a blessed spot, right? And the blessed spot is not just on the number 1 spot. The blessed spot I'm talking about is the fact that they have 2 more games to go. So dominance is a no-brainer for QE.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's easy enough. They might be getting those 2 bounties overall. The elimination as well as the damage. And that's additional to what they will be getting, because they're sure enough to get into grand finals as well, part of the top 12. So I'm really loving the effort that's being done right now by the teams. Those who have completed their run, Stellar Esports or Stellar Esports, I don't think they will be able to make it. They've completed their run, and I think they're just above the 50s right there. So unfortunate for the team.
Absolutely, man. We still have got the match standings coming up for you guys in a little bit as well. But you are right, Neptune. I don't think the squad called Stellar Esport is going to be making a stellar entry into the grand finals. They will make their exit here from the knockout stage. The teams that have completed 8 games, as you can see down in the bottom 6, only 1 team has got that number, and they will not be joining us for the remaining of this. But I can promise you guys all-out chaos. Right from the 18th to the 10th spot, you see only 30 points. Brother, these teams can rock 30 points in 1 game. The leaderboard is about to shift in a very big way. We have got 2 extremely exciting games to look forward to.
I do agree. Catch-up game is being done, and the cutoff is being achieved by most of the teams right now, especially for those who still have matches remaining in this game. Next up would be Kalahari, and we've seen a lot of sniper play not only in this map but other maps as well, but this gives them an opportunity for double sniper setup that can increase the chances of them getting a lot of elimination.
I do agree with you. You know, when you go into Kalahari, this high ground advantage that we usually talk about, you must make sure your snipers are always playing it against the other opponents, because if you're not taking that advantage, they are going to be taking that advantage, right? The hook gun is available for everyone. The meta right now is for the snipers, which also makes these rotations from compound to compound look extremely impossible out in the open if you do not have any backup snipers on your side, because as you receive those shots, you have to fire right back, and this is where those launch pads will come in very handy, Neptune. Compound to compound, you got to make sure you're sticking to those vending machines, and those launch pads are what you could depend on a little bit more compared to the zip lines at Refinery.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of ways of entry and exit out of this point. We also have the hook gun to deal with. So if everyone has that, your entry would be good even in succession. You don't need to have just one angle to take with a launch pad. You can go in separate ways and still move as fast. So Kalahari is just one of those exciting maps wherein there's plenty of opportunities for teams to get in and out of the battle. But it's more of how teams are rotating with QE still part of the mix, we might be seeing the same encounter overall, starting in from one side, either north or the south, and then hunting the edges. That makes it troublesome for some of the teams who are not really expecting that kind of move.
Yeah, and I think it's just big brain play from Garena, right? To have these bounties out there, to have these bounties for the eliminations, for the damage, so you know that the monsters are not going to rest easy. The monsters are not going to just sit back and say, hey, I found the qualifier into the grand finals. I'm not going to show up for this match. I'm not going to try. There's some money now on the table. And if you want to earn it, you got to hustle. And that's exactly what QE is doing right now. I think GCT Arrows already had a decent run for the day. They have ended their matches. I think 49 eliminations in total they picked up so far. And that's a really good stat. But QE with 35 to their name is not too far away. I think they should be able to catch up within just one game now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see though. I mean, there's a lot of things that might be happening right here. And going back to your point for getting all those elimination, getting all those points in, this is one good thing that everyone right here, especially as we are encouraging everyone to be part of the next qualifier of the FFWS USA, you need to study those kind of factors. It's not just about pointing and shooting, kind of going for rotation and survival. There's a lot of opportunities for you to stack up on your points, on your numbers, so that you can get as much as possible out of these games.
Absolutely. The game is about to kick off, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I hope you're buckled in because we are about to face some turbulence in these flights, these flight paths, and in these engagements. Because like we told you guys, there's so many spots up there in the top 12 for the taking. These teams are way too close to each other on the leaderboard. Every game will shift the leaderboard in a big way for these squads who are down there in the bottom 6 and who are also in the top 12 down towards the bottom. I'm talking about the spots from Ruthless onwards, right? Because Ruthless is, I think, about 12 points behind Flash, which means even Ruthless needs to hustle. Because if Ruthless does not hustle, they will be at risk of getting relegated. 2 games. To expect them to show up in both games is obviously asking for a lot, Neptune, because you look at the names who are in this lobby, who are going to be looking for big points. For one, you definitely know QE is going to be doing that. Thank you very much, production. GCT Arrow is not going to be a part of this particular equation if they're ended, but INV is definitely going to be a big threat for this map.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, that reduces the chance of you stacking up in numbers and making sure that you catch up on that 12th spot. But guess there's no more waiting. Here comes the next match. It is in Kalahari, game number 5, and this is where we introduce back again Group B into the mix. So it's Group A, Group B, and AJ already mentioned which team we need to look out for. But for Group A, this is the first time that they will be playing this map in the knockout stage. So they might have that element of surprise right now. But as we look into the flight, let's see where will they be landing. Flight does start from Mammoth heading into Council Hall right now, and Refinery is where most of the teams are eyeing on dropping. So we might be seeing some like Celtic GG, who often drops in this area. But as we look into some of the teams who pulled away in the same from the same spot as Celtic GG, I think it's DZ as well as Nova who will be meeting up on the southern part of the area. Fabian might be able to take advantage against Vags right now, who's out in the open, but didn't take a peek, didn't see where he's coming from, and Vags might have that element surprise. Inhaler and a shot, but Fabian is holding the fort. Not so much of help though from the outside.
1NT down at the very bottom. They cannot afford to lose this fight at all. Vegas with the mini Uzi will get shot down by the cord. But the follow-up from Lucas is a solid one of the 1NT player. Just could not follow up off of that shot. DZ on recovery. 1NT on the other hand is punished severely. Caesar versus Shadow 7. Shadow 7 with the UAV scanning out the position of 3 players on the side of Caesar. But Darius up on top should be able to punish Nando here. As long as Nando stops turning around.
Yeah, I mean, he's spinning. He's making himself dizzy at this point. Probably getting motivation from DZ Esports. But Caesar Good position to take against Shadow 7, but also good position to be taken out. Now that we have a couple of snipers from side of Shadow 7, not only Sanchez 7, we have an AC-80 from Misa Goat, we have M24 from Nando P77, so that's a triple threat on a long range, and Darius needs to be careful, thus he is being forced down to regroup with the rest of the squad.
Caesar, what's going to be your play here? 2 games to go, and they are in the relegation zone. So many teams fighting for survival, and it goes down to these 2 games. No mistakes can be made. Shadow 7 in the relegation zone as well. Caesar's literally just 2 points behind them. This fight could be very detrimental for the team that loses it between the 2.
Let's see. Shadow 7. Well, Shadow 7 is the one who did manage to clutch it up on the previous games that they played to get into the top 12. So I don't think they will be risking that much to go against a Caesar, though they don't know exactly who they're going against, but at least keeping themselves safe and making sure that they get a few more elimination. Now this would be a smart move, but they pulled on the trap. Shadow 7 just regroup, but it seems like Caesar will not be falling for that. Caesar gets 2 out of the 4 players of Shadow 7, and that prompted them to move away. Nando P77 is on the roll.
Oh, he's so lucky. None of that connected. The AWM would have made a big difference in that situation, or the Car 98. But the pursuit is not over just yet. Look at Muslim go, man. He wants this. Oh, first shot finds it. And the follow-up is deadly. Muslim getting the knock and the point. Harvest completed 3 points off of the Shadow 7 squad. But do not get baited in. Cartel, sir. Caesar backing away because that could have been instant shutdown. Nova was heading towards that exact compound as well. And you can see them on the minimap. On the approach, right behind Caesar.
Well, let's see. I mean, Caesar got away from Nova, and it's a good thing that they didn't even show up. They didn't use the binocular to spot out where they're coming from, but full revival on Shadow 7. So the dream is still alive for this team, despite of not getting any points, and not so much of a contention. It's only Crazy Mind. When I say only Crazy Mind, they're not playing it well in this past few maps, and Sanchez 7 though has been eliminated, but the rest of the squad has managed to drop far away from Bayfront.
Crazy Minds are about 6 points behind Shadow 7. So again, strong fight, very important fight. Crazy Minds somehow straying away from the rest of the team. Celtic, what? The awakening of Hugo is not really something that's happening out there. In fact, I think he's going to sleep with the rest of his squad. That was an unexpected exit, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, he has been awakened, but I think it's still half asleep at that point. So that's making it difficult for Celtic JJ. And again, we're talking about the awakening of Hugo. Hugo is just one guy, and if the rest of the squad couldn't follow through, then all the pressure is on him. And that would be tough out of an IGL, if he's an IGL, or as a sniper who's always trying his best to bring the numbers in, trying to carry the rest of the squad, and it's not looking good for a team just like that.
Not at all, man. Not at all. That's going to be unfortunate. 1NT up against Caesar. Oh, it's a 1v2 there. Count did not get that 180 for the second connection, but he was able to tag up Darius. Almost got a 1v2 completed phenomenally, but the rest of the Caesar players would have put an end to him. But I don't think he would have complained about walking away with 2 points and giving one away to Caesar. 7 eliminations already. Caesar's very consistent with these plays. And that's what I was expecting out of Celtic GG.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we just don't see that out of the squad. And you are right, man. When you just depend on your sniper, it's probably not going to end well for the squad. Darius is cutting off the rotation here for Fabian. 8th elimination now picked up by Caesar.
Well, here you have it. Because of the hit list, he will be taken down. And with one player still alive, for the team, they might have a chance to go in for that recovery. It's still the first phase of the circle, though. Getting into next phase would be easy, especially if you have those team boosters on you. So Caesar, elimination leader with 8 points already, and I don't think they will be able to find anyone else until the next phase or once they made that rotation. But there's still a lot of things that might happen. It's Crazy Mind being eliminated. They're not going crazy this time. Again, it's just insanity, though. For this team, they're doing the same thing over and over again in knockout stage. It doesn't work.
They'll have to go back to the drawing board for sure. Crazy Minds just not good at finding those deeper circles, unfortunately. They are great at some of these engagements. They are one of the better squads who are down towards the bottom of the leaderboard when it comes to finding the elimination points. But if you cannot survive in a battle royale, which literally is focused on finding out who can survive in a flooded lobby full of monsters, and you're definitely going to struggle. Ruthless finding QE? Ruthless fighting QE, that's a big one. Pulgita down, time turner. Almir looking for that pickup. Coyote on the row, wrap around. No Punisher just yet. But he will make sure that's lesser for Almir to pick up on. And that finisher, obviously, very irritating for Almir. And Zam team should be able to put an end to QE right here.
Almir, sliver of health. Will he be able to recover? Covering himself with his glue walls, and QE will be taken down with an M79. And that's the first point from Zam team. The only question, though, is have they spotted the players from Ruthless from that tower, and can they take them down? Because there's a good chance for Zam team to continue their streak right now of climbing up leaderboard. Currently on the 12th spot. They still need a lot more for that buffer. But shots onto Young King. Well, he's young, so he can get away that easily. He's a king. He does have a crown, so headshot it's not that easy. But Ruthless would still be continuing in this hold.
Okay, now Ruthless needs to play this one really careful up against Zam team. Zam team, the last time we checked in on them, they were sitting on the 12th spot. So this is a very important battle. And as far as Ruthless is concerned, they just made the break into the top 12. They don't want to lose their spot so quickly. Zam team is 8 points behind Ruthless on the overall leaderboard. So if Zam team wants to make something happen here, they definitely need to put an end to Ruthless some way or the other. If Ruthless gets to end Zam team on the other hand, they get to climb up a little bit further, putting Zam team at risk of relegation. Every single engagement, every single elimination is going to be a game changer here, Neptune. Instant pickup coming on through. Medina tagged up. And Iris would be super useful in this circle.
And not everyone's catching up with the Iris. I mean, I believe they got too comfortable with the Riptide Rhythm, with the Moors, but that Iris can do a lot already. And it's just a matter of counting how many glue walls is being put up, especially in circles just like this, and you will have an idea. Why not bring in that Iris to give them a little bit of advantage?
Absolutely, man. That's exactly what we are seeing out of Ruthless. They're on point with that. Not many teams are like Ruthless to focus in on that Iris advantage. Yes, it does give you an upper hand in the final circle, but 1NT Esports, they were so down low on that leaderboard that I was feeling bad for them. But with his exit, they just make the journey a little bit more difficult for themselves. I don't know if they're going to be able to pull off a 40 bomber in just one game in the final matchup later. So it's safe to say 1NT will not be making it into the grand finals.
Yeah, I mean, projected to be bottom two of the leaderboard based on calculation. 1NT will just be bringing trouble, disruption to some of those trying to survive towards the end. Zam team, though, backs away in a perfect timing, but will be tagged by Cryomine out of nowhere. I think it is Caesar who managed to get a hold on the command post, or probably Miacorp, who is on the other side. So Ruthless can have a good opening on against Zam team, but here comes Caesar. Elimination leader still continuing on, not getting that much. Tags up 3 on the binocular, and they might be rolling out.
The 13th team and the 12th team in a close enough proximity for an all-out battle. But Caesar will look to reposition themselves and find the entry into the next circle from some other part of the map. And that's going to be good on them. They're taking a fight up against Zam team. Would have given me a heart attack for sure. Either team that loses would lose out big time. Mia Corp's been kicking very silent so far.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to do what they did in the previous season. Surprise everyone, though this is not the final match, but they're trying to find that final circle, get that booyah, just make sure that they can bring a little bit of dominance in the minds of their opponents once the grand final happens. Ruthless, though, great position that they can take on high ground. Not so much a backstab might happen against them, but here comes the next phase of the circle, and it just splits Ruthless up into 2, and also pushes Mia Corp to rush in against them just on the edge of command post. Same goes with Zam team.
Billy with the Punisher. Car 98 perfection from the sky and the squad overall. And with this high ground advantage, Ruthless taking so many of these shots. They have a great line of sight against Mia, against DZ. They don't have to get away from this spot just yet. A perfect vantage point and a defensive spot for the next zone to play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one good thing that they're doing right now. Preparation onto the next zone on what's going to happen once it shrinks. And you need those compounds, whether you get cover or you get elevation. And that is one of the key features that we have in Kalahari. Elevation. Thus, our Ruthless knows that for sure. They're trying to capitalize on what they have in the tower. But you know the risk of being on high ground in Kalahari. Because most of the teams right here are looking up, trying to find a spot for themselves.
Perfect thing to do would be multiple lightning zones, man.
Oh yeah.
If you want to play your advantage in this circle, it's all about the lightning zone. Nobody will have the cover, Neptune. Everybody's going to get struck down. If you got a Moko, then you're going to be smiling year to year. DZ making this rotation. And it's going to be a big fight, a 3-way battle. DZ, Nova, Shadow 7. That fight about to break down.
Let's see who's going to break on that breakdown. And INV falling down, losing the opportunity to get in the faces circle. And this might be the end for the final player. INV Chrono out. And it's Coyote and the rest of Ruthless going Ruthless right now in elimination spree.
INV has already cleared the minimum point to get to our grand finals. So the risk is not that high, and on top of that, they've got another game to go. Shadow 7, on the other hand, will meet their end. Nova annihilates them, but that's not the end of the battle just yet. DZ knocking on their doors. Lucas and Alex, just the 2 players left for the side of DZ. They don't have the numbers, and King Gold finds Lucas. Nova waking up when they definitely need to. They're 9 points away from the 12th spot. Man, oh man, that leaderboard is going to shift in such a big way, Neptune.
Oh, it's a good thing as well as Caesar is dealing with DZ because this is such a threat against Nova. And if they can get the Booyah with a lot of elimination, they might be able to make it. Rafer, though, still making work against Zam team. Everyone, to be exact, on where they are positioned. Ruthless has clear view other than those who have a better cover. And Caesar trying to make their way in the next one. DZ annihilated by Biblex. And this gives an opportunity for Nova to do more.
I think Flash is in a lot of trouble, man. They put on 83 points on the board, and I don't think it's going to be enough for to survive to get into the grand finals. It's going to be a risk for sure, but all they can do is just sit and watch and see if or not someone surpasses them. Coyote, 9 HP, could not recover. Luisito, on the other hand, can he still find a couple of players? Answer is no. As Young King peeks on in, Zam team puts an end to the squad.
And Ruthless, good position to take earlier, but once they dropped from the tower, they got beaten down. And Zam Team Medina on the CQC on a switcheroo with the AWM and the VSK dealing with those knockdown players. But they need to go to pick up because the zone's going to hurt. It's a good thing they still have a little bit of space to play with for recovery. But who's going to be waiting against them? It's Nova and Caesar. The moment they step in the open, they will be gunned down.
Absolutely. Zam team have got a couple of more points to pick down from right below them. And remember, Zam team was sitting on the 12th spot. Caesar looking for the 12th spot from the 13th. Nova currently in the bottom 6. In fact, they're in the 17th spot. All of these squads looking for survival, except Mia.
Mia is just, I don't know, they're just hanging, making sure that they can get numbers in. Oh,
There you
some team, Brian needs to make it work right now, and they can chase off the final player. Mia, but DK managed to snipe him out with M24. It's not looking good for Nova, but here comes a pickup, and Nova in full rotation, taking advantage of the position to get the next shift of the circle.
Absolutely, Zam team out of the equation already, and now Nova looking for the Booyah. They call for the lightning zone, and this is a big advantage. Caesar's going to get tagged up by all of those lightning strikes, and Nova 4v4, and the circles on their side as well. Caesar in a tad bit of trouble, as Nova will get that high ground advantage as they continue to move on forth.
Nova has been silent. They're just preparing for this moment. They trigger lightning zone, pull off the M249, and bring down those glue walls. Nade might be on point, damaging a couple of players from Caesar, but here comes the pinch. Here comes the pincer maneuver, and I don't think they survive. Nova might be back at the board, and they are getting this booyah.
Ayate with the double, King Goat stepping it up as well. Nova on the M590 plays, showing us once again that they are not messing around. They know exactly what they're doing, and Neptune, this game alone, is going to launch them straight into the top 12.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, there's a lot of excitement every time Nova gets a lot of elimination. Again, if you remember in the survival stage, when they were, when they're about to end, they was just toe-to-toe with DZ Esports. DZ Esports didn't stop. From there, they are continuing those elimination. Nova Esports seems like they are slow, but they're trying to pull up a crazy mind right now out of all of this play that Nova Esports has been doing. But let's see if this works though, because there's still a lot of contenders above them.
Yeah, it's just 8 games for us to see what these 18 squads can do to each other out there on the battlefield. And in these 8 matches to seal their fate, to eliminate the bottom 6, I think we are making this very difficult for them, but it's really testing to see who are these squads who can remain very consistent on their plays. And again, for them to make such a jump, Nova were in the second from the bottom, right? They were second last, they were in the 17th spot. And with this one game, they are looking to climb up this leaderboard in quite a big way. Neptune, we talked about the cutoff being 80-ish points. Flash has 83. So many teams now. Ruthless, Cartel Soya, Zam team should definitely be extremely close to where Flash sits on the leaderboard.
And that's one thing though, with some of non-performers based on the numbers in the knockout stage as well as the previous reign, if they start popping off, they might throw off the numbers as well in that cut-off game, because it's more of the history, right? That's where we're looking into analyzing what they need to do. But if they pull up a surprise just like this, what Crazy Mind did, what Nova has done right now in this map, then it might even be higher than that. So there's still risk even if they reach that 80 points.
Absolutely, man. This is because I think because you did say 80 points, and then later on you did say that the data is showing that the cutoff is going to be beyond 80 points, right? Maybe somewhere around 85, close to 90. And I think you might be spot on with that as well, because these teams who are at the bottom, they're picking up big points. So that's definitely going to shift the overall cutoff points for the top 12. And this is something that Caesar and Nova are very much ready for. Earlier on, Nova looked like they were not going to stand a chance at all, but now they look very comfortable. Where does Caesar sit on the overall leaderboard after this game? I'm very sure pretty close to Nova. I'm very excited to see the overall leaderboard in a bit, Neptune.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's see we'll see that in a bit. But again, congratulations to Team Nova Esports after what a good recovery from them. Second to the last game, and they managed to pull it off with a booyah and a lot of elimination. Van Dijk, our MVP, 6 elimination, 2 headshots, 8 on assists, and 2,400 on damage using the Cryo Mind, Alvaro, Nikita, and Moko. So This is different
Yeah.
from what we've seen in the Bombers side, because the moment you tag them up with ice grenades, with the usual grenades, then you still have that information that gives more for the rest of the squad to counter on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think it's a big brain play. He's a super flex out there. He's a true disruptor. He disrupts with those grenades. He disrupts with the narrow. He disrupts by marking up all of those players. The King Goat up against Lucas in this head-to-head will take the L for the eliminations and damage. But where he does shine is helping out the rest of his team members pick up those solid eliminations, right? But as far as King Goat is concerned, is Nova going to be able to make it into the grand finals? Absolutely. How? He's going to personally make sure he puts the numbers up. And they actually walk away. Dude, they were literally at the bottom of the leaderboard, the 17th spot out of 18 teams, and they just walked away with the most number of eliminations in this lobby to guarantee themselves a spot in the grand finals.
Again, this kind of performance will change at a point. It might increase that a little bit, and that would be trouble, especially for teams that already made their run. Flash is one of those. They got just a little, about 80 points, 83, and if it slowly builds, based on performance of those coming from bottom, then they might be in the risk or practically in relegation zone.
Yeah, they are in the relegation zone right now, Neptune. I'm talking about three teams, right? Crazy Minds, Shadow 7, Zam Team. These three guys, okay, let's throw Celtic in there as well. And you know Celtic can get these points. The worst case scenario, the furthest one away from this team called Flash is Celtic right now. And Celtic just needs 11 points to overtake them on the leaderboard. And those 11 points are a no-brainer easy for Celtic. And it's easier for Crazy Minds, even easier for Shadow 7, even easier for Zam Team. I think it's safe to say Flash will not be in our grand finals, man. I mean, unfortunate. Let's check out the leaderboard here. And you look at the 12th spot, Flash, 83 points. Zam Team, Shadow 7, Crazy Minds, Celtic, all of them. They've got one game in hand. To overtake should be a no-brainer. But for 1NT down at the very bottom of the 18th spot, that's just impossible. Alongside Flash, Stella, they will not be making it into the grand finals.
I do agree with that. One condition for that to happen, though, is the top dogs need to be annihilated so that the points will be spread across and those at the bottom.
Yes.
That brings us a better storyline on who's going to catch up. And I do agree with how close it is with those teams at the bottom up until the 16th spot. So Sam Team is just 1 point below Crazy Mind. And Crazy Mind, I don't know what's happening. And I started questioning them when we saw them eliminated earlier, and seems like they are still on the same roll. Being invited, I guess they want to take a longer route onto the next one, on the next tournament that they have in FFWS USA.
Maybe, my brother. Teams who are in the top 12 who are still at risk of losing their spot, it's Ruthless, Caesar, Nova. These three teams. Flash is definitely going to get out of the top 12. I'm sorry, Flash. But these other three teams are still going to have one match to play, cannot drop the ball, right?
Yeah.
If we see Ruthless, if we see Caesar, if we see Nova getting taken out with no eliminations early, then we can say goodbye to them as well. Because obviously Zam Team, Shadow 7, Crazy Minds, Celtic GG, the four teams who are in the bottom six right now will be desperately looking for points. And these squads know how to find points out there.
Well, let's see now. We're up to our final game, and this will be in Solara. And we've seen how rough it is from the earlier map. Those we thought is going to perform didn't, and those we thought that who's not going to perform managed to catch up on the points. So this is just that trickery that can be brought in by the newest map into our map pool. And let's see though if they can make this work.
Absolutely, man. And Solara is the place where if you think you're going to be in this exclusive 4v4 fight against Up Another Squad, yeah, dream on, man. Those slide rails will instantly introduce a new contender to the fight, and it'll turn messy before you can count to 3. TV Tower, I expect it to be a little crowded here. Multiple levels. Give me a hot drop at TV Tower, and the drama starts off early for all of us.
And let's see, they need to turn on the TV to watch drama, but I don't think anyone wants to see that, especially with a lot of teams involved on that run to the top 12. So Celtic GG trying to keep it safe, but Ruthless is trying to beat them to Aquarium. Celtic might just have this little compound to work with, and almost everyone is in there, so they do have the numbers as advantage against Ruthless. And there goes Luisito being taken down, even next Billy, and it seems like Celtic GG is in a good spot right now. They try to double back spots those couple of players who managed to pull away from this engagement, and this might be the end for Ruthless, as you call it.
Dude, I told you, Ruthless cannot get taken out early without eliminations. It's going to be over, Neptune. And Celtic GG, one of the teams in the bottom 6 who can make it to the top. This is crazy. This lobby is all what it's about, man, when it comes to the excitement here in the world of esports. This is the peak for sure. Young K's going to get tagged up, but the time turner's on his side. He had the chrono, had to invest that active skill. Van Dijk's going to be struck down. Nova, one of those teams, in danger as well. DZ taking those shots. My God, for a big squad to aim against Nova, this is going to be trouble for them.
Well, let's see, a couple of players already taken down DZ, but here comes MiaCorp, another disruptor in this game, and Nova needs to pull back from this battle, regroup, loot up, and that's where they turn around and bring in the fight. But they have a 2-1 split right now, and a revive that needs to happen. Lucas is trying to do the same thing. There goes Van Dijk back into play. Lucas has been spotted, but doesn't have the weapon, or Kingo doesn't have the weapon to go in for a quick damage against Lucas, and Lucas is out of here.
Lucas, though, shield gun out of Hayate, just not finding the perfect connections. And they will lose TKO to Elite. QE finding the Nova player. And that's not a good sign at all. Zam team versus INV. INV in a very comfortable spot in their own mind, so they don't really have to do much out here. They definitely cleared the cutoff point, right? More than 100 points in hand so far. Cannot say the same for Zam team, who desperately need all these points off of INV, but they're not finding any.
Oh, Zam team in trouble. Medina is being left behind just to make sure that he can push INV away. With no shots onto the slide rails. Medina, if he can make this work, this might be a huge highlight. And he did survive, but the rest of INV will be going in. And with one shot from downtown, Palitoso brought him down.
Palitoso just didn't need to move on the slide rails at all. Just a jump shot. Finding the perfect connection. Nando, Shadow 7 in a lot of trouble. They called for the lightning zone, but everybody on the side of Celtic just sneaking on in. And Hugo with the VSK up close and personal, just trying to annihilate all of them, but will get caught out by Mingu. They got really lucky there.
It's a good thing that Shadow 7 does have backup. Otherwise, the awakening of Hugo might happen once again. Now, let's see. Shadow 7 knows. I think they know exactly where Celtic GG came from. So they're trying to get and chase for that numbers. Again, Shadow 7 is one of those that's very close in the top 12. And if they can increase the elimination, they might be able to make it. But INV, no problem for them to take these teams out. And this might be trouble for both Celtic and Shadow 7.
The Monsters, who have already guaranteed a spot for themselves in the grand final, still playing spoilers here up against the other squads. And Low saving his buddy before he could get annihilated. Chrono will get picked up. And what a play there from the squad of INV. 6 eliminations strong, and they have not done harvesting the lives of Shadow 7 just yet.
Oh yeah, I mean, the timing from that shot was just impeccable for Low. He was just about to get punched. Eliminated. You can see that wind up, and now got shot down. Now, Misagoat AC80 just needs a moment to pull that trigger, to point and shoot against INV, and they might have that advantage. But you can see the rest of the squad. That's what I'm talking about. Just a moment with AC80. Nerf gun, no problem. He can still bring it on.
Yeah, man. You can nerf the gun, you can't nerf the player. And he was in the right place, right time. His opponent turned his back on him, not even knowing that he was there. Huitoto taken out of the equation here. It's a battle between DZ and Caesar. Caesar cannot afford to lose this battle. They are in the top 12, but they've only got 85 points on them. They need way more than that. Darius down. Muslim has got the coins for 1 revive. He will bring Darius back in.
Yeah, well, they do have a couple of team boosters on their side, and hopefully one of those is out of zone buff. Now, they need a few more coins to bring back one player's Hui Toto out of this mix. But back to Shadow 7. Misa Goat, he steps in a little bit closer, but on the other side, missed the opportunity to save Sanchez 7, and now Misa Goat will just be a distraction against both 1NT and INV. Now, I'm not sure if this is a good way to get all those points, but if you can play it safe, you might be taking advantage of that scruffle that would be happening on the other side.
Oh, Crazy Minds, you cannot go down here. It'll be the end of your run instantly. Mayota making it work for the squad with the VSK, but he's out in the open and in a lot of danger. Janito, how far away is he? The more stealth bites comes on through, and it looks like he's gonna drop away to pull the revivals back for the squad of Crazy Minds.
Yeah, I think Mayota was a little deaf right now. I told him to take the horse, not use the Morse, but that's why I survive.
It's just too close, man. The Morse and the horse. He's got the wrong info. Sometimes when you use those walkie-talkies, the damn static getting in the way. Amir gets the spray down. Big is taken out of the equation. Mayoda's still alive and kicking. The Morse somehow helped him get into a better position. 500 coins in hand. The man does not have enough.
Oh, let's see. He might be able to at least pull
there
off.
You go.
It's he managed to prowl get one coin machine and managed to get their teammates back in place. So it's a full squad for Crazy Mind right now. Almost a full squad for Crazy Mind. Now Ruthless, one of the teams who we were eyeing that might be taken down, but they might have done enough already. If the rest of the squad following them will be eliminated. So they need a few more points, and Caesar is the one who needs it most. Thus, they are hungrier than Ruthless.
Absolutely. Caesar, Darius down on the ground. The battle between the two teams who won a spot in the grand finals. Neither one can afford a loss here. And Ruthless on those revives will keep themselves alive and kicking. Both Caesar as well as Ruthless, as long as they continue to farm these eliminations, I think they're going to be safe. Because with this run, both teams getting 5 eliminations each, they've already managed to break into the 90-point range. Yep. Just a tad bit more safer to squeeze themselves into the grand finals now.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, 90 points, though our numbers are increasing, you can see the slowdown right now in eliminations from everyone in this mix. So it would not be top heavy. It would not disrupt the calculations that we are eyeing on based on their performance in the past. But Ruthless has already done 5. They can still do more, but they still have 12 teams remaining in this fight. So you can see the determination as well as perseverance for a lot of teams to survive out of this game. And we're very close to the 9-minute mark already, where most of the teams almost is annihilated. Or some of the teams are almost annihilated at this point.
Almost is the key word there. Recovery is still possible. And it's good to see the fight in the squads here at the Free Fire World Series USA. Nobody wanting to give up that easy, even though for some of these squads, it is all over already, right? So you got to respect the fight in them. 1NT still in the run. As I speak of them, they bring in those revivals. Celtic will not make it to the grand finals. That is a big loss for the squad. And 1NT just losing player after player to the side of QE, who continues to farm even though they don't need it. DZ is going to get annihilated early as well. That's one monster out of the equation.
Now, with Dizzy out, I think that gives more opportunity for Nova to be able to catch up. But here comes Caesar. They need a lot of points, and a better way to take all those points is against QE, who's on the top of the leaderboard right now. But how can they do it? Darius being left behind with the car. Here comes Hui Toto being shut down, not seeing where he's coming from. And QE might be the ones in the bitter end of this fight. Caesar, though, being annihilated because of position being taken by QE, and Caesar might have lost that opportunity, or might be losing that opportunity because of how close they are on the 12th spot.
Just as I looked at the fact that they were driving right at QE, I knew that it was going to be the end of Caesar unless they pulled off a miraculous play. And no miracles were available for them in that situation. It was an easy shutdown. Ruthless still alive and kicking to guarantee themselves a spot in the grand finals. Did Caesar do enough? We'll have to wait and see. They're sitting at 90 points right now. 1&T on the other hand, no miraculous run for them. And Ruthless will put the final bullet on their coffin, just as a little goodbye gift for the squad. 1&T will not be in our grand finals. Nova makes that exit as well, Neptune. And it's unfortunate because they were very close down to the bottom 12. We don't know how many eliminations they got, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's getting tough to tell right now on how much they have done. But it's just like the hopes dwindling out of the team. We still have Ruthless, Shadow 7, as well as a Crazy Mind in this fight. Let's include Zam Team as well, who is in a good chance to catch up against Flash Gaming, and they might be able to make it.
I think there is a big chance here for Shadow 7 and Zam Team because Nova's gotten taken out already. Caesar is out already, so you've got 2 spots for the taking. And in fact, Flash can't even do much. So one guaranteed spot here. Zam Team and Shadow 7 just need to get to that final circle. As I speak about Shadow 7, 2 of their players sprayed down. Visago taken out of the equation. It's going to be Ruthless who want to guarantee themselves a spot in the grand finals. And they know they are close, but they don't want to let up that easy just yet. Billy knocked down by the skill. Raper taken out of the equation as well. Coyote with a sliver of health. Can they shut him down? Ruthless stepping up towards the very end to make sure they do not lose their spot and forcing Shadow 7 to abandon the compound.
Let's see though. Pickup has been done already, but the zone's about here. And there goes South Team being taken down. It's the Titans who's just putting all these teams to their knees right now, losing that opportunity to get in the top 12.
Now, some team could have done it because Neptune, they needed, 8 points to catch up with Flash? Oh, actually, I'm not so sure because they didn't get much eliminations there. It's going to be a big question mark, man. Crazy Minds, can they pull off a crazy round? 23 points away from Flash. They'll need to get the booyah here. No if, buts, or maybes to get into the grand finals. Ruthless right down below. If they can take Ruthless out of the equation, 1 team less to deal with in that final circle, and of course a few extra points which they desperately need to climb into the grand finals. Coyote has got the Mac-10 in his hand. Valiant Dash will not help out as Into gets that elimination. Crazy Minds on a great roll now.
Oh yeah, they're in a great role now, and with what they're trying to do right now, it reminds me of how they managed to pull it off in the knockout stage, to get into the knockout stage. They're trying to make that clutch into play. There's plenty of chances for them in eliminating the other squads, and there's plenty of spaces to do so as well, but they need to be cautious because we still have giants like QE, Mia Corp into the mix, and they will not make it easy for them. Mayota, though, has a good chance of at least knocking down a couple of players from Miyacore, but the zone's closing in, and they're leaving a couple of players out to hunt for more, like Shadow 7, Sanchez 7.
Uh-oh, Shadow 7. They needed 13 points to catch up with Flash, man. This is not looking good for the squad right now. Sanchez 7. One final survivor, the Moss keeping him alive and kicking. He will be spotted out. Crazy Minds. Hack is just right behind him. Has he not spotted him out yet?
Yeah, probably because of the distraction from the other squad as well that loses the focus on that guy of Sanchez 7, but Pianito managed to spot him out. The Morris expires, he pulls up the glue wall, he pulls up another one to try to recover, but here comes the rush. Mac-10 might be the end of him. I don't think he has time to go in for that health, and he gets taken down. It's the teams like Crazy Mind that makes it difficult for the Sum to catch up.
Miyacore aiming at INV. This is the opportunity for Crazy Minds to harvest more points. We are running low on numbers here to harvest upon though. And QE, the deadly dominators of these lobbies, is alive and kicking. 15 eliminations and they're not stopping just yet. Palmer low, everybody annihilated. INV out in 5th.
Couple of giants right here in front of them, and Mayota just plan to get on top of one of them. It's QE. Here comes the rest of the squad who might be able to go for backstab, but to back away in perfect timing. The zone will be closing in, will be shifting, and Crazy Mind is getting annihilated. QE non-stop performance from the guy. Only one remains though for Crazy Mind, and I don't think he will be able to survive any longer.
Yeah, I think QE is going for the record breaker here, but MiaCorp might just be the ones that it's going to take to put an end to the ruthless run of QE. Speaking of ruthless, they're still alive and kicking out there on the battlefield. What a valiant effort of ruthless to qualify for the grand finals. When we started off today, they were in the bottom 6, and to see them now so comfortable in the top 12 shows us that when you've got the strategy, when you've got the heart, you can go far in this competition, Nep.
See though, QE right now, above them is a final player of Crazy Mind. And they're just trying to recover. They're not even trying to hunt down Mayota right now, because in a bit they will need to work on the shift of the circle. Just an edge. MiaCorp, Biblix about to be hunted. They're just behind a rock, and this is a hard place right now, trying to charge against him, but an hate onto them, and this might be a Josh Bear. Just managed to go for a knockdown, as well as adding up the skills being brought in by MiaCorp, and MiaCorp rising in this battle.
If you put Almir down, you're probably going to walk away with a booyah, man. Delete taken out of the equation as well. Crazy Mind still alive, but Mayota finally ended, and MiaCorp getting the final booyah available here in the knockout stage for themselves, just to flex on everyone. A brilliant play from Mia, but I honestly am just looking forward to that overall leaderboard, Neptune.
Oh, yeah.
It's been so long since I've gotten to a stage like this where so many teams are close to each other, so close to each other on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
This one game could have shifted so many fates out there. Some were finding elimination, some were getting eliminated without anything at all, and QE just torturing everyone by surviving long enough. We needed the monsters to sleep early. These monsters, they need to take like some sleeping meds or something, man, because they've got insomnia. They do not go to sleep.
Well, let's see though. I mean, it was close in the top 12. There is a good chance that some managed to put in a lot more already. But this is one thing for sure. You mentioned this already. Team Flash is about to be relegated. They couldn't 100%. Do anything about this, and there's a lot of points that has managed, or a lot of teams that managed to catch up on them already. The closest to them is Zam Team. So with Zam Team, hopefully they brought in enough, because they got eliminated halfway through, and they were very passive, trying to make it work just with placement point. I believe that's the only thing that they got out of this game, unless they managed to pull off a surprise right here. But there's also Shadow 7 who got a few of those elimination. Crazy Mind who tries to survive with Mayota as a final player. So it's really a struggle, a tug of war on that 12th spot.
Yeah, so it looked like Zam Team did manage to pull away a couple of eliminations before getting taken out of that lobby. So they should be able to climb a little bit, but are they going to be able to catch up at Flash? They needed 8 points. I don't think Zam Team got those 8 points, which is unfortunate. Caesar, on the other hand, man, their run ended, just way too premature here as they bumped into QE. They didn't have a lot of eliminations in hand as well, and they were not in a position to pull away a lot of placement points since this was so early in the lobby. So it's very unfortunate the way Caesar got taken out, and their fate now lies in the hands of the other teams who have the potential to overtake them on the leaderboard.
Oh, let's see though. I mean, Caesar, it's just unfortunate. We were opting that we might see them get a lot of points in this game, but from what we're seeing, Shadow 7 got eliminated early. We're also seeing Zam Team who might be losing that opportunity because they didn't get that much point. Crazy Minds, who we expect is going to pull off a clutch, who didn't do it, other than Mayota just trying to get a few more in this final moment. It's still a scramble. I don't have any idea on who's going to make it right now.
Me too, Neptune. Like I said, way too close the numbers were on the overall leaderboard. And with Crazy Minds, with a crazy survival run, even they stand a chance. But by how many points did we see the top 12 clear this leaderboard? We talked about the cutoff point being around 85 points. And that could most definitely stand to be the cutoff point by the end of this game, man. I don't know. I'm just taking a wild stab in the dark here.
Well, let's see. Really excited right now. I know this is a good feature to feature the final battles out here. But here we go. We're going to do some infographics right now. And MiaCorp, now one fun fact is in the knockout stage, they started off when they played with the Booyah. They ended it with a Booyah. And like I'm counting out that game that they missed. And this is just how MiaCorp is. They want to show their sheer dominance.
Yeah, that's how they roll, man. MiaCorp, the ones who will be getting their flight to Paris very, very soon. They get to see the Eiffel Tower in person, maybe visit the Cathedral of Notre Dame. And I'm very sure they will not be tossing that cryo mine in. These guys. 4 eliminations, 6 assists, 2,224 damage off of Josh Ware. Not the best player out of Mia, but definitely one of the best in the competition for sure. The cryo mine, the disruptor, the grenades out of this guy, the disruptor, the Molko to play the information after the disruption is sent to their way. And the Nikita combo with the VSS is just deadly in its own way, Neptune.
Yeah, I do agree. And then that final move coming from Josh Ver to knock down one and hit a lot with those nades, just give them that information from these fights. But look at the head-to-head right now. It's coming from those who didn't get that Booyah. It's Coyote from Ruthless and Almir from QE. Both equal on elimination, almost equal on damage, but a little bit switcheroo on a headshot and assist department. So you know for a fact that who's taking the reins is a rusher as well as a support in these fights.
Wow, look at this, man. 117 eliminations in this final game available at the knockout stage. Everybody went all out. And QE did not need to, but they went all out. 21 eliminations harvested from this lobby.
Yeah, third Booyah of this knockout stage, and they really want those extra bounty to their side. I'm just loving that QE. Once they need it, they can bring in the numbers. They can take the number one spot. And there's another team that we need to look out for, other than MiaCorp, who we know can bring in get that Booyah, who can get that champion rush condition easy. GCT Arrow, who can rack in eliminations as well. QE in 2 days just showed us that you can beat everyone, leave everyone behind in the dust.
Well, the leaderboard is what I'm expecting to see, and then later on, Neptune, we get to see who walks away with the bounty. We've got the elimination bounty, we've got the damage bounty coming up for you guys, but the first thing is on our list of the first thing on our agenda is to check out exactly which are the teams that have made it into the grand finals, because it was so close down at the bottom, right? Teams like Shadow 7 will smile ear to ear as they manage to grab 86 points, clearing the cutoff. And they will be part of the grand finals. Flash, Zam Team, Crazy Mind, Celtic GG, Stella Esports, and 1NT, unfortunately, will be relegated from the knockouts. And they literally just got knocked out.
And that's one thing, though. I mean, 80 points continue to rise after 2 matches, and that is what happened right here. Some of the teams just threw off that cutoff line. And especially with a move that has been done by Nova, with the Booyah that they have, we have Cartel Sur as well, the tenacity they have in getting all those eliminations, Shadow 7 survivability. But, and team standing on elimination for the day, Kiskea will be in their number 1 spot. MiaCorp, though, very close, only 6 points behind.
Man, I mean, yes, 6 points behind, but GCT Arrow would have just been sitting and watching this matchup like, man, we missed our opportunity. They thought they put on some great numbers, but MiaCorp and Kiskea just cut above, and QE walking away with another bounty. But the question is, can they get the damage bounty? Yes, they can. They actually walk away with a double bounty on the final day available here at the knockout stage.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot that I would say would be in addition to the teams that will be getting after that grand finals as well. So double bounty is, I think it's something that DZ has managed to pull off, but now for QE, they managed to get 600 plus US dollars just in 1 day, and it's not even the grand finals.
Now you understand why we are asking you to play that in-game qualifier. You could be one of them as well.
Yeah.
For some, it's about the money. For some, it's about building a career as a person who plays video games, right? Talk about just making your life so much fun. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of stress when you get annihilated out there on the battlefield, like some of the teams that did not make it into the grand finals, but then there are some dream runs as well, because teams like Nova, teams like Caesar, teams like Shadow 7 were definitely being tortured out there as well, but they did the right things, man. I mean, for some of these squads, it was definitely about survivability. If you look at teams like O1 Esports, they were barely finding that final circle, right?
Yeah.
You couldn't really see them in that final zone. I think out of the 8 games, there's only the single time where they got into the top 3. But even they have qualified into the grand finals, Neptune. It's definitely a good balance between survival as well as looking for the eliminations out there on the battlefield. And we feel like you guys need to join them as well and make this competition a little bit more exciting for us.
Yeah, exactly. But the excitement has already been brought in, and we're going to end the knockout stage. We're going to see everyone tomorrow for grand finals. Again, I am Neptune Jeremy Garcia, my brother Musasho AJ. We thank you for today. See you again on the grand finals.
Focus, aim, ready. Focus, aim, ready. Speed up in the race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass. Gotta level up your game, lock in for the fight. Target inside, an eye for an eye. Gotta level to the sky. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. Got nothing to lose and I'm coming for you. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I do what I want and I'm breaking through. I'm bulletproof, I'm bulletproof. I pull the trigger. Higher level. Higher, higher level. I pull the trigger. Higher level. I pull the trigger. Higher level. I pull the trigger. Speed up in a race, fall back, no chase. Turn up with the bass. Gotta level up your game, lock in for the fight.